Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the HGO podcast. One of your hosts today, Ethan, and joining me, as always, are my partners in crime, Kyle.
Hello.
And Hunter. How you doing?
Oh, I'm doing just swell.
Mission accomplished, ladies and gentlemen. We have punched some kids we have obtained on Nintendo Switch 2. We did it. We followed the plan. It worked effortlessly. What can I say? Happy Switch 2 launch week, I guess, still in progress. Happy Key 3 Summer Game Fest, whatever the hell we call this week anyway.
Well,
a nightmare for most.
Nothing happy about it.
Yeah, nothing happy about it, exactly.
Nothing happy about a Jeff Keighley show.
But you know, Kyle, we're through it now. We're through the worst of it, and we're here to talk about everything that's been happening in the world this week. It's been a interesting one, to say the least, and we're not even technically all the way through it ourselves yet. We'll get to that a little bit later, but we're here, everybody, to do our big review so far of the Nintendo Switch 2. All three of us have got our consoles now. Some of us have had them for, as of recording, 3 days or so. Some of us have had it for roughly about 5 hours if you're Hunter. So plenty of impressions to be had. And we'll get into all of that in a little bit. So yeah, basically, the way this show's going to work this week, spend the first half talking about the Switch 2. Sounds good. Second half talking about whatever the state of the industry is with these shows. So if that sounds good, hop on in. I'm sure it's going to be an interesting one, regardless. But hey, bit of housekeeping before we begin. Obviously, we're in the middle of Switch 2 launch week, which means we're in the middle of review season, a load of reviews coming out. Obviously, Hunter had a Clair Obscure Exhibition 33 review come out recently, so if you haven't checked that out, go check that out. I did the first Switch 2 review of Welcome Tour. That is on there. So if we don't get around to that in this podcast, there's a whole video on that already that you can go and check out. This next week, there will be a review of Mario Kart World. There will be a review of Doom the Dark Ages. Am I correct in assuming that, Hunter, that there will be a review of Doom the Dark Ages? Cool.
There will be.
If I'm to guess, Doom will probably be the first one, and Mario Kart will probably be the second. That'd be my guess, but who knows what's going to happen. Bear with us. We're trying to get through a lot of stuff as games just keep coming out. So bear with us. We'll get to it. We're working on it. Welcome Tour came out pretty quickly. Can't do that for Mario Kart. It's a much bigger game, I'm afraid, but working on it. 15 hours in. We'll get to it. But thank you for the support so far. And hey, we'll just keep on rolling as we get through the summer season with more reviews. Obviously, Death Stranding 2 coming out in just a little short while as well, so we'll be covering that as well. So there's plenty going on. And it should be a ton of fun. But let's not beat around the bush, dude. Let's just get straight to it. The main topic of the show, our Nintendo Switch 2 review so far. We all have got various amount of time with it. Kyle, it's interesting because we all had 3 completely different experiences, right? I went to a midnight launch. You got free Pringles, and Hunter was 3 days late. So, Kyle, let's start with you. How was getting a Switch 2? How did you find it in the end?
The ordering it part was painful, but I didn't have to do anything. Shit got delivered to me. So Walmart's very cool. They delivered it to my house at 6:45 in the morning. I hadn't even left for work yet.
Yeah, you had work as well, so it was like you got like the true gamer delivery. Like if you were off, you would have been in Nirvana then, but you were like, oh, well, that's nice. Great. You didn't even check if you got Pringles before you left. Like, my God.
I didn't have time. I was on my way out when the delivery came.
You thought I was joking.
Turns out I had to see a friggin' post from Kevin Miller, the voice actor of Sly Cooper, to confirm the Pringles and free Coke were real.
That goes to show our later relationship, ladies and gentlemen. He doesn't believe me, but he will believe the voice actor for Sly Cooper on Blue Sky. That's what he will believe.
Well, it's not that I didn't believe you. It's that you didn't offer proof when you said it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So I'm like, oh yeah, free Pringles and Coke. Ethan's just being a goober. Typical Ethan.
Yeah, typical Ethan, dude. Yeah.
I drank the Coke already, and I didn't eat the Pringles yet. I haven't opened the Pringles yet, actually.
Saving them for a special occasion. Yeah.
Dude, they're just plain Pringles.
Plain Pringles are slammers, though.
Dude,
man.
they are. They're like I'm sorry. It's like
they are, but they're not gonna jump the queue in my chip order.
Once you pop, you don't stop.
The hierarchy, in the hierarchy of chips, it's kettle chips of whatever description I can
Variety,
get
yeah,
that are the
yeah,
best around, and then
100%.
Pringles, and then everything
No,
else.
yeah, I 100% agree on that, dude. I think that this is, a disservice to the plain Pringle. I think there's nothing wrong with a plain Pringle. Sometimes, if anything, other
I don't think
Pringles
there is.
can take away from it. It's like sometimes they go
I
a
would
bit
say
too
so,
far.
yeah.
You gotta keep it to the classics. Sometimes you just gotta do that. Um,
That is true. But yeah, so my delivery totally seamless, and I'm actually really glad it got delivered early so that it wasn't just like sitting on the porch all day while I was
yeah,
gone. So that was very nice.
yeah, that was pretty good. Um, So yeah, you got yours handed to you on a silver platter. I had to go and I had to get the working man switch. I had to go out there and fend for my life. No, I went to a midnight launch because Smiths in the UK were doing midnight launches. So uh, straight after the state of play, I literally got into my car, drove like I'm not gonna say, but let's just because I don't want to dox myself, but let's just say I don't live that close to a Smith's, so it wasn't a 10-minute drive. Like, I actually had to go out of my way quite a while to go to a Smith's, which by the time I got there, there was like a queue of like 14 people already in front of me. So I was like, oh, this is way more busy than I thought it would be. So I just stand in line. My good friend Eamon and his brother came over and also just queued with me. They just wanted to see a midnight launch. They weren't buying a Switch 2. They just wanted to see a midnight launch.
English people just love
We
lines,
just
is the
do.
moral of the
It's just
story.
I think what's interesting though, guys, is like obviously we grew up in that generation that didn't really get to experience midnight launches really because it's like when midnight launches were a huge thing, I was like 10. So it's like I never got to experience a midnight launch. My friend Eamon never got to experience a midnight launch. Screw it. This might be the final midnight launch of anything really in the UK because they don't really happen. Let's just see what happened. So I get in the queue. I'm glad I got there when I did because legit there was about 30 people behind me as well by the time that the clock struck midnight. So there was quite a lot of people there. So yeah, I just walked in, was like, "Give me my Switch 2 of Mario Kart." They handed me one over, and I was like, oh, "I pre-ordered it," and they're like, "Oh, okay, that's fine, even better." They had so many, legit, not joking to you. The person on the checkout was literally like, "Yeah, we've just been told to keep giving people Switch 2s until we either run out or the queue's over." And there was literally they had all of the pre-order ones, but they legit had like 100 odd that weren't pre-orders. They were just you could just walk up into store and buy it. So I think everybody that went there at midnight just got a Switch 2 if you wanted one. My friend could have got a Switch 2 if he wanted one. Anybody
Nice.
could have just walked up and grabbed one. Um, but it was kind of cool. I walked in, grabbed my Switch 2, walked out, uh, drove all the way back home again, which again, right pain in the ass. And then once I finally do get back home, it was just like, oh cool, I can start playing this now. So started installing everything and got Mario Kart downloaded before the servers kind of shat the bed. So that was a fun experience. Would recommend it.
You popped in call, and I got to experience it vicariously.
Oh yeah, I was chucking the thing about and all sorts. I was proper shaking it. Like I was like, I went straight into like review mode. I didn't even care that it was my own Switch that I'm gonna have to live with for the next 8 years. I was just like, how strong are the magnets that start shaking it? Oh yeah, they're pretty strong.
You're like, it's fine. I've got another one in the mail.
I don't know what you're on about. Um, Hunter, you didn't have the most clean route to your Switch 2. What happened, dude? What happened? Why did you only get it on Saturday?
Um, yeah, I don't really have the explanation for that so much. I guess maybe it's because of the processing error that happened last week, but I'm not 100% sure that if they didn't try to charge me in the dead of night, Thursday going into Friday a week prior, and then I was unconscious, so I couldn't tell my bank that it was in fact not fraud. Um,
Just not a
until
cheeky little bit of fraud.
tomorrow.
Not a cheeky little bit of fraud.
until until I woke up later, and then it took a while for them to uh I never even got like a notification that it reprocessed. The next thing I saw of it was them telling me that you're giving me the tracking number
Mhm.
on like Wednesday, I want to say.
I mean, I don't think you're alone. I know in the UK, Amazon were just like, yeah, things are showing up on the 7th, the 8th. Like, they just didn't care. Like, Amazon were just in a we don't give a fuck mood for Switch 2. They were just like, yeah, you get it when you get it. I don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
I think there were just a couple of companies in particular were just like, who cares? Just chuck it out whenever.
Yeah.
To be fair,
They when they first gave me the tracking info, it told me it would be there on Friday, and then by the time I got off of work that day, it moved to Saturday. So I was like, ah, cool.
cool. Another day. But yeah, at least I mean we got him in the end. It's pretty easy. I mean,
Yeah,
for the most part, it seems
props to
like
us.
yeah, props to us and props to Nintendo in a way because from what I've seen anyway, the people that did go to midnight launches, the people that were able to go to Best Buys and Targets and whatsoever in early in the morning, there was quite a bit of stock to go around to just walk in and grab a Switch 2 if you really wanted to badly get a Switch 2. So, compared to the palaver of the PS5 and the Series X 5 years ago, I think that, they've done a much better job of getting the allocation sorted, which is good.
Yeah.
Can't complain. Like I say, I got my Pro controller as well. It felt weird. I don't know how you guys felt, but this is the first time I've bought a console and not a game with it. So it felt weird to bring a console home and not really like because my Mario Kart code was digital. Everything else, the upgrades and stuff like that, were all digital. So I was just sitting there. I'm like, I don't have a physical game here. It's like with Spider-Man Miles Morales with the PS5 or with like whatever for Breath of the Wild for my original
My
Switch. I don't have a thing. I don't have a Switch 2 game. I have nothing.
technically speaking, my PlayStation 5 came with games that I did not play because I just took them back.
Yo,
But
same. Mine came with
oh,
God of War Ragnarok.
What a deal.
yeah, but yeah, mine came with like basketball and Miles Morales, which
Yo,
I already
basketball.
had, so I took that one back. So it was like a couple days or the week or so before I think the first thing I played on it that was new was Persona 5 Strikers.
Mm. It felt very
Mm.
weird to me. I don't know what it was, but it's like I remember we were having these conversations a couple of weeks ago where we were like, "Oh, am I going all digital because of the thing?" And it's just like I just sitting there, and it's like half my storage has already gone up just from downloading these like 5 games or whatever, and I'm just like, first thing I do, pre-order a physical of DK Bonanza. We're going back to physical, ladies and gentlemen. I can't stand the 50 GB video games on Switch. I just can't. I like having everything installed. It's just good. Just pop a cartridge in. It works. It works.
Yeah.
It's not a CD. So long live physical media. I guess I'm gonna spend $10 on video games more than I need to. Brilliant. But hey,
Hey, that $10 is worth it to know you'll have it forever.
as long as
What's
the
the
cartridge
mark?
works, yeah. As long as
To
it
know
works.
that they can't take it away from you
They
in
can't
the
take my
dead of
monkey
night.
game away from me. Yeah, exactly.
Monkey.
But yeah, overall, pretty smooth. How are you guys finding the console then? Obviously, Kyle, we've had it for a couple of days now. It's part of the furniture at this point. How are you finding it?
Yeah.
I think it's an interesting one. I'd like to know what your thoughts are, really, because it feels interesting to me. Because obviously, with the biggest comparison I can give it is like Xbox One to Series X, because you remember how people were complaining that the UI stayed the exact same, so everyone was just like, "Oh, I got into my Series X and it just kind of felt like like there was no big difference really." And that's how I feel with Switch 2 is the UI is basically the same, so it's like I've got the new thing, but it also just it doesn't like I'm like it does a
To be
weird trick with
fair
my
to the
brain.
Xbox people, that's a valid complaint in that case because that UI is dog water.
Hey, I'm not going to sit here and act like the Switch's UI is a saint. They have fixed a lot of the issues with Switch
No,
2,
no, it's
but
no, but it's just side to side rectangles and whatever, and not ugly boxes in whatever size they decide to put them on. I don't know. I
and I
hate the
won't.
Xbox UI.
Yeah, and to be honest, I won't say that the PS5 UI was a step up either. Now that we're like 5
It
years
was a
into it,
lateral
I'm
move,
like,
if anything.
we may be just making the PS4 UI less ass and like actually quick probably would have been a better option. I don't know, but it just
But we also took away your themes.
yeah, exactly. But it does make it feel like a change when you plug the PS5 in for the first time and it's a brand new UI. And you're like, how the fuck do I get to the settings menu? It's a little bit of a journey. Whereas with Switch 2, it very much is. a refined Switch One. How are you finding
Yeah.
it, Kyle?
I think the console as a whole is just really nice. Like, because the last console upgrade I had done was PS4 to PS5, and I truthfully barely noticed a difference between those consoles. But on Switch 2, I can definitely see the differences. Even running like old Switch 1 games on there, which I'm sure we'll get to later, but just the performance and everything on it is just so much better than it used to be.
It is. It feels weird, right? Because it's like we spend the past like 5 years when talks of Switch 2, started all the way back in like 2019, and you're like, for fuck's sake, really? You know?
Yeah, that was the exact reaction I had to those people.
But everybody was basically, we were all on the same page where it's like, Nintendo, don't fucking just
Don't
kick the
get
hornet's
cute.
nest for the sake
Just
of it. Just do a Switch, like, just do a better Switch. And now you're handed a
Yeah.
better Switch, and you're like, yeah, this is exactly what I wanted. Like, this is great. But it's like, I'm whelmed. That's my opinion of it is, yeah, I like it. It's a better Switch, But it's not like it's not the magic of it's the Breath of the Wild syndrome again. It's not the magic of the first time you got a Switch out and you're like, oh, that's crazy. Now it's just, oh, thank God, Breath of the Wild actually looks great. Oh, Scarlet and Violet runs fantastic for once in its life. That's crazy. Like, I think that's the magic. Is not necessarily it's not innovative, but they've basically fixed every problem I had with the original Switch. The Joy-Cons are
Yeah.
better. The analog sticks actually feel good on the Joy-Cons for the first time in their life. I really like the magnets on the Joy-Cons. It's a much better system.
The system makes a funny noise when you turn it on.
Yeah, it chirps at you when you turn it on. The mouse features I think are quite nifty. It's like they've made a lot the eShop's bearable. How long it will stay that way, who knows? But right now it's pretty good. It's kind of ticked all the boxes off for me, where it's like, okay, load times are fucking heinous. Okay, good, a big fix on that, lovely. You know, I just sit there and I'm like, it's good. Hunter, how you feeling?
yeah, I've been
Oh
I'm
no.
also
And
muted.
everyone muted.
I'm also muted. I didn't realize that I muted because I was going to take a drink, but unfortunately,
okay.
Hunter got
Anyway,
attacked by
as I was
bears.
saying,
Audio
I
listeners.
have yeah, they were coming for me, but I've been liking it. Um, I really did enjoy the feeling of putting the new Joy Cons into the sides of it was a much better, like, gratifying feeling than the slide of the old ones, as far as that's concerned. The first thing I did was upgrade my subscription to go play Soul Calibur for a little while.
That's how they
So
get you. That's how they get
Respect.
you. Yeah.
yeah, so um, I mean, I don't know. Relative to what PlayStation is charging for theirs now, and also now that there's also GameCube things to be added, I feel like the price tag for the expansion pack isn't that bad anymore.
Yeah.
It's getting there, isn't it? It's like you can get it super
Like
cheap
even
as well.
before,
Like I buy
y-
it. You can buy it from
yeah, it was
like
discounted when I got it. Like
Mhm.
if they were only asking for like $35 instead of the 50 that it was looking like it was gonna be a week ago.
dude with like discounts and stuff like that. With verified authorized resellers and stuff like that, like buying like just gift cards or stuff like that. Like I think my Switch online expansion pack like ends in August 2027, and I paid about $50 total for those like 2.5 years. So it's like
Yeah.
compared to everybody else, it really is just like a really good way to play. For example, say you've just picked up Street Fighter 6 and you're like, "Oh, cool. So my options are in terms of consoles. Obviously, you can have Steam where everything's free, great online. But when you're looking at Xbox, PlayStation, and Nintendo, Nintendo's now the cheapest way to play Street Fighter 6 online on a console because you can just give them $20 a year. Like it's like,
What a
Yeah.
world.
yeah, it's
And you
it's
can play with motion controls.
yeah. I'm not saying it's perfect. I'm still sitting there going, How many years are they gonna, Kyle? How many years are they gonna go until they finally give us a Pokemon game on GBA Online? You know what I mean? Like, when are they gonna get
Yeah.
desperate to just start giving us the games we really want? Like, they do a good
When-
job, but there's like that on the handheld front. It's like, where are my Pokemon games, dude? Where are my
He-
Pokemon
Hear
games?
me out, dude. We will get a Pokemon GBA game when they figure out how to make it compatible with Pokemon Home.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. You're probably right on that part front. Um, it's either that or maybe they'll give them up to us next year for the 30th anniversary. Maybe.
Because I was looking through the GBA roster, they have Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Red Rescue Team on there.
Yeah, they have. They're like
So
Pokemon Snap. They're not afraid of putting Pokemon games on there. They're just avoiding the
yeah,
ones you know we want. You know, like I'd be locked into expansion pack for life if you gave me Fire Red and Leaf Green and Ruby and Sapphire. You know, like oh
yep.
hell yeah, I'd just be locked in there. Heck, charge me $30 for them. I don't care. I'll buy them. I'm a sicko. I'm a freak. I'm the problem child that Twitter hates at the moment. But yeah, I think from a membership point of view, it is looking a lot better than it once did. I also I have a suspicious feeling that they're gonna stop with the DLCs. You know, when they were giving away like the Animal Crossing and the Splatoon DLCs and the Mario Kart Booster Cores, I feel like they're probably gonna phase that out now that the library's looking a lot stronger with
Yeah,
the
probably.
retro consoles. Especially now you've got GameCube. I mean, if they did DS at any point as well, like that would just be like cool, you
Oh,
know.
it's over at that point.
Oh man,
You can guarantee they're
that
gonna
would
give
be
you a stupid.
nice.
They're gonna do a stupid like holder for the Switch 2 or whatever, where you can put it in vertical mode so you can have both screens and the touchpad working in handheld. You know they're gonna do it, little sickos. But yeah, I think from a membership point of view, it is a lot better than when it launched, like whenever it did with fucking what was it? Was
With
it just N64 and Genesis? Was that what it started with? Like it was
Yeah.
pretty bad.
yeah, with like and I guess one of the upcoming DLCs were around the corner, you
Was it
know,
Splatoon
but
Octo expansion or something like that? I can't remember what it was. It
I
was
think
one.
it was.
Yeah,
That sounds right.
it was pretty dire.
yeah.
How are you guys feeling on the price? Obviously, we've all paid it now. 450. I know there's a lot of talk on I the problem with the internet right now, or the problem that's always had with the internet is it's just like we're all sitting here, like everyone's getting, $80 games. Hey, I'll join you on the $80 games. I don't want to pay $80 for Mario Kart. We can get to that in a minute. But like I always thought the console price was like 450. I'm like,
Yeah,
That's
relatively
valid.
fine.
that was the price tag. I was prepared for more as far as like I was ready for them to say 500 or even 550 or something stupid like that.
I wasn't going
Well, the
that crazy.
PS5 was 500, right?
Yeah, yeah. So, and I wanted and we're in the times where consoles are going up in price the further into their life they get now. So getting one now seems like the better
Make that
move
make
still.
sense.
So
I mean, yeah. I
yeah,
mean, it's anyone's guess how how
it's
high the Switch 2 will go.
yeah,
But
yeah, it's worth it to me right now anyway. And I'm sure that the games that I'll get as the years go on, it's not like I have any intentions of buying whatever new version they try to sell me over the years incoming.
Exactly.
So
I
it
know,
doesn't
right?
matter.
Same. They'll never get me again.
Hunter and I rocked our same Switches for the whole 7 years.
I get the launch console and then never another one
Right?
unless
Can I just
like it
say?
explodes in my
Something
hands.
something happens, yeah.
Yeah. Can I just say, in my defense, for the original Switch one, was my original Switch was on death's door. I did have to replace mine because the fan was going. I had to
Yeah.
like when I gave my Switch to my friend. My original Switch now is with a friend. I opened the fucker up and declogged the fan and tried to, give it a good because it was like it was on death's door. Like I had to. Now, did I need the OLED? No. Was the OLED a stupid purchase? Yeah, it fucking was. I'll happily admit that. Put my hand up for that one, Your Honor. But like
Yeah, doing that when you don't like
playing
playing in the
handheld. Yeah, I
handheld
know, right?
mode
That's
is
crazy.
stupid.
But yeah, it was very stupid. I admit, Hunter. I agree. I agree. But yeah, it's like I think it's again, I don't personally see the issue. Like at the end of the day, I can understand if you're mad if it's not currently in your you don't have the finances to cover that. I can understand that. That's perfectly reasonable. And at the
Yeah,
end of the
or
day,
saying that it's like not worth it to you for what's there right now is something that makes sense. Like maybe also like maybe these people, especially if they're in America, aren't thinking about the fact that just because it's 450 right now doesn't mean it's going to be 450 3 months from now.
yeah.
Yeah.
um
And don't get
but
me wrong, I think there's a ton of stuff that Nintendo's doing with the Switch 2 launch that I completely disagree with, or I think is completely foolish. I think game key cards are fucking abysmal. I think the idea of charging $80 for Mario Kart is ludicrous, really. I mean, I think we're all sitting here and going, oh, it's fine. I paid $50 for it in a bundle. And I'm like, yeah, that bundle's supposed to end in September, kids. Like, there will be a point later this year where that game is just straight up $80. So,
And it's a Nintendo first party, so it'll never go down.
no, all they'll do, that's what they'll do, Cal. That's how they'll get you, is every Black Friday it'll go down to 60, the price it fucking should be. But, it's like, you've got stuff like that. You've got how in the UK and in Europe, how physical games are more expensive than digital this time around for no other reason than lol, please buy digital. Or you've got
so what is the price tag over there for you? 70 physical and 60 digital? Or is it
no, because that'd be way
70?
too. It varies on a game to game basis. I believe. I
Oh my
believe what
god.
it currently is DK Bonanza is 65 physical and 57 or 58 digital. So it is literally just like $8 or $10 less. Like it's ridiculous. But this is where we talk
Dude,
about it's like
I've made jokes about like paying the physical edition tax for indie games before. And usually they like to, like they usually try to be like, okay, we're sorry that this costs, this went from 15 to 30. Here are some stickers and some other goodies in with your
Yeah.
package. Whereas this is just literally a little convenience
yeah.
fee
So
tax
literally,
that
so
like
currently, so
Ticketmaster
currently
would do.
So currently in the UK, it's £75 for Mario Kart World physical, and it is £67 digital. So it's literally like they are just basically charging you £7 more for it, and I'm like, why? Like, it's. I hope
That's also
that.
like annoying because for me that would be enough to not be a deal breaker, but also enough to be annoying.
Well, like I say, to me, it
You
was
know?
like I originally was very adamant where I was like, oh, I'm fine. Maybe I will go all digital this time. But it's like, yeah, like these things don't have enough storage on them. That's one of my criticisms. Is it's like, yeah, whoop-de-doo, it's got like 8 times more storage than Switch One. It's like Switch One had nothing, dude. It fucking died. You could have Zelda
Yeah, it's
and fucking one other game, and that was it. That's all you could have.
cleared the
Um,
2 millimeter bump of a hurdle that
yeah.
was.
And I said to you guys, I bought a micro SD Express card, and that micro SD Express card is full with my digital library for Switch One. And spoiler alert, I was mainly physical. You can see them all here. It's like I didn't have that many digital Switch games. It was about 20 maybe, so it wasn't that many. So yeah, I'm happy to pay that tax. What it means, Hunter, is I'm going to be buying less Nintendo games.
Mhm.
When we came, you guys have seen my stupid spending habits over the past 5 years of this podcast. I have bought many a Switch game where I've played it for 2 hours and gone, not my bag, and just stopped playing it, right? Mainly because Switch games have been really affordable in the UK. You could get most Nintendo games for about anywhere between £35 and £42, which is not bad. Like, I don't mind buying a game for that, playing it for 5 hours and going, not for me. That's fine. I don't mind doing that. I can sell it on. Now, when the next Fire Emblem comes out and they're going, we're focusing on gameplay and not story, then I'm giving them a middle finger and fucking off. Like, no, I'm just not doing that. You can't pay me. Like, it's just not going to happen. But yeah, I think Nintendo's got plenty of shitty practices right now. But in terms of the actual console itself, I'm fine with the price, and I think the quality. I think it's a really quality handheld. I really like the way it feels. I think the size difference is fantastic for your hands. I don't know if you guys have messed around with handheld mode, but it feels so much more comfortable to play video
The
games.
spread I was only like I held it in handheld for as little time as I needed to.
Mhm.
Because as soon as it was like put it in the dock to start changing your data, I was like, all right, thank you. But
Slam
for
dunk.
for the little bit that I was sitting there holding it, I was like, this is a much more like comfortable spread
The analog
for the
sticks
hands.
are obviously they're still smaller, but they're big enough now that you can properly rest your thumbs on it where it feels normal. It's really comfy. There's a like I say, I think the console itself I'm really liking quite a bit.
The buttons to take off the little to take the Joy Cons off,
Yep.
or they feel like something that actually exists
Oh, not the
on
little
the thing
nubbins,
instead of
not the little
Yeah.
not
Joy-Con
the little
nipples, dude. Yeah,
nub that feels like
yeah.
uh,
And you like to detach the Joy Cons from the screen also, like you need a lot of pressure put on those too. So you're not gonna like
Yeah.
accidentally detach your Joy Cons while you're playing.
Mhm.
yeah.
100%. I think my only criticisms with the actual console itself so far are, again, I think with the UI, I like I think the UI is better. I think the UI is great. Would it have killed you just because you know that everybody's been clowning about themes, just to have a couple more options at launch? Just a cut, like, you know what I mean? Like, they have literally just copied and pasted that. Just give people a little bit of faith that that menu might be used in the next decade, you know? Like, just a little bit
Mm.
of faith.
It is a little weird, at least. It, like you'd think that because of their branding, they would have at least put like a red in the shade that is on the
Yeah,
box there.
exactly. You would do, wouldn't you?
One
Um,
one mild criticism I have is the back of the dock
mhm.
kind of flimsy. Like
Yeah,
I went
Nausea,
to
yeah.
I went to take it
Oh
off and it
yeah.
just kind of fell off like a
Yeah, that
jeweled
was
CD
weird.
It's
case.
this. It's the same complaint I have with the OLED dock. Is the OLED also has one of those poppable backs, and it just doesn't fit as well as the. Also, the cable. I don't know what you guys think of the power cable.
Oh,
That's
it's really the power cable. Never mind. I was gonna say the HDMI cord I got is really short.
yeah. Short King HDMI cable. Love that. But the cable as well did not feel good. Like, it's like a regular USB C to C cable. It kind of felt a bit flimsy. Like, it was not wanting to cooperate with the dock very well for me, because it's like I was like, that's just like, it just doesn't. It's very weird. But um, little nitpicks. The eShop's so
I
much
do
better.
appreciate that the power block to plug that into is not just a massive brick that will take up the. You
Yeah,
have to put it at the end of the power strip or nothing.
yeah,
You
yeah,
know.
Yeah.
yeah. I appreciate that. Um, and I like how it it's little differences to the UI, that like everything's a little bit snappier. Um, the eShop is so much better. Thank you, Nintendo, for making a functional eShop. I really appreciate it. Keeping groups and everything like that still on the OS is really nice. Thank you. Little change from me, but I'm so grateful that they did it. Um, on Switch profiles, it was such a little nitpick for me, but it used to piss me the fuck off. Was you've got your game time on your profiles, like Kyle has played 10 hours or more of Mario Kart World or whatever, right? But for the first 10 days, it would just tell you that you've been first played 8 days ago, first played 7 days ago. So when I'm trying to say for my first
Some
impressions,
games you could finish it in that time.
yeah. So for when we were doing first impressions, and we used to have a joke where early on in like 2020, back when we first started it, of I don't know how long I've played this game because it just says I first played it 3 days ago. That's all I know. What I originally did was I had a second profile. I added myself as a friend, and if you go through that, like there was a weird workaround where you could see the hours, so I could get the data for when I was writing reviews or whatever. Now, if you go over 10 hours or more, it gets rid of the first played. So if you've played it for more than 10 hours, like if Kyle was to go on his profile now, it says he's played Mario Kart World for 10 hours or more. Just a little thing, but that's so helpful for someone like me, where I'm just like, I need to know how much time I've put in for this for review. Oh, I can't because I played it within 10 days. Like, it's just very, like, just little things like that where I'm like, thank you. That makes so much more sense. Who cares when I played it 3 days ago? Perfect World, you would have got rid of that entirely and just told me how long I played it. But at least you've thought about it a little bit, I appreciate that. Um, yeah, and the HDR's dog shit. Like, fucking, that's my other complaint, is the HDR's dog shit. It doesn't work properly for me anyway. I hate the fact that I turned it off and there's a second setting. Kyle was laughing at me when I was doing this. Was I was having HDR issues where
Yeah.
I disabled HDR, but the console was still running in HDR, and it's because it had a second HDR button. I'm like, why? If I've disabled it on one, why is there still one
It was,
to? There's like a
it was like
setting.
automatically run HDR
Yeah,
if
even
it's
if you don't,
compatible.
even if your TV doesn't support it, run it anyway. I'm like, who wants that feature? Stupid feature. Get rid of it. Thank you. Um, but other than that, I've got no qualms with it. How are you guys feeling about the launch lineup? Hunter, obviously you're having a time of your life. The one person that didn't get the Mario Kart bundle. How are you feeling?
Oh, I've been having just a ball playing Soul Calibur 2 for the little while I was doing that because
Oh, dude, you and I need to
it
play at
is
some point.
it is my favorite fighting game. I love Soul Calibur 6 as well. Like I think it's in every way probably the better game, but I just like the vibe and feeling and the yeah, all of that that's attached to 2. You
Yeah.
can play as a Link, which is another bonus,
Dude,
you
there's
know.
just something about like the crunchy 2003 graphics of Soul
Ah,
Calibur 2 that just hits the right part of the brain.
The music is got
Oh,
loads more personality, I feel like, because I feel like by 6 they kind of just were,
mm.
orchestra stuff,
the
Do you know
voice
what's
etc.
acting is in that funny middle ground of not good, not great, but not laughably
fantastic?
bad
Yeah,
either.
yeah.
Dude, Raphael's
Mostly.
Raphael's post fight roasts are like the best things in the world. Like one of his lines is like "Stay down, it suits you," and that
Oh.
is something I wish I would have the occasion to say to somebody ever in my life.
Do you know what I
But
really hate about the with like because it's like they've done. I don't know if you guys tested it. I tested it for a little bit as well. They've done some updates to the N64 emulation as well. So now that rewind's added and CRT filters and all that jazz, and I'm just like
Yeah.
I hate this because I'm sitting there and I'm like, as someone who didn't grow up with the N64, someone who didn't grow up with the GameCube, and as this library grows, I'm sitting there and I'm like, God damn it, I kind of want an actual like proper controller for it because some of these games like I'm trying to play like regular games on these
oh
controllers and god, some of these games do not feel good with a regular like pro controller, and I'm just sitting there going, they're gonna get me one of these days. I
yeah,
infamously
yeah,
hate
you
the
don't even like
N64
the
controller, but I'm gonna end up buying one at this rate because I kind of want to play it like some of these games properly. I hate it.
As God
Yeah.
intended.
I got an adapter so that I could just plug my GameCube controller that I
Mm.
have into the thing to play Soul Calibur in the biblically accurate way of doing it,
The
and
way,
like
yeah, the way
things
Lord
that,
intended it, yeah.
which is
Yeah.
funny because I also had it on the PlayStation too, so it's not like it matters that much to me. But I was like, oh, I'll have other things that I probably want to play with like the actual GameCube controller because there's something about the way they make their games that it is like only their control schemes only make sense with the controllers for that
It
console.
really doesn't help, does it, when because say what you want about Sony, right? But it's like when they're doing these classics lineup and you're like, oh cool, finally they've added Sly Cooper. I'm gonna go play Sly Cooper. Sony, bless their heart, have not changed their controller layout ever in their life. So you're just playing with a fancy PS1 controller, so it's fine.
Yeah.
Whereas it's like even just like it's like I booted up Wind Waker for 20 seconds because I've always thought about playing the original because I played HD years ago. But just even having the UI in the top right be the GameCube adapter, like, and I'm just sitting there and I'm like, just like my goofy goblin brain's like, it doesn't feel right because the A button isn't the big squishy, like, you know what I mean? It's like it just
Yeah.
my brain doesn't compute. I also don't. I'm not gonna spend $60 or whatever it is on the fucking my Nintendo store and like GameCube controller. You can fuck that off. I'll just buy a hoary like cheapo knockoff
Yeah.
one when it comes
No,
to
yeah,
it.
that's why I just bought the adapter for the ones that I had I have a Switch GameCube controller for sitting around here somewhere, but
Mm.
I think A, it drifts, and B, I don't like
Of
that
course
as much
it
as
does.
I don't like the way that feels as much as like the original one. The buttons feel flimsier or something. I don't know.
But no, it's
Bad
like
sensory.
that's genuinely. It's like I'm starting to see the vision, especially because they haven't gone Uno Reverso. We're starting from scratch. It's like we've got that old library that they've
Yeah.
spent 16 years building up at this point with NSO. So it's like to have that comfy like bunch of games. Like, sorry, old school Nintendo fans, I don't give a shit about the NES. And to me, this layout is basically identical to the SNES. I can just do that with a D-pad. I'm fine if I ever want to play the
Yeah.
SNES. But it's like the N64 and the GameCube are like these problem children where they've got these dog shit controllers where I'm like, oh god, I kind of need one if I want
It's
to play
funny
these
because even
properly.
if they got as far as doing the Wii, like as gross as it would be to
Jesus.
go back and play an emulated Wii game, you can do it because of the Joy-Cons
Yeah.
being the
Oh, they could
thing.
100% do that, dude. Wii Sports, dude.
It
Oh hell yeah, we're gonna. I can't wait.
it would
Friday.
be gross, but it would work.
Yeah.
You
He's
know?
so funny.
But yeah, so I've been liking Soul Calibur. I'll get to the adventure mode that I enjoyed so much before, but I just did arcade runs of it. It feels as good as I remember.
Mhm.
That opening movie rules.
It's so cool.
Yeah. And then I started playing Deltarune shortly after that, because that just came out.
Yeah.
The chapter 3 and 4 for that. They're the main like I guess he's not really doing anything villainous yet, but he's like in the role of what the villain in chapter 2 was doing, where he's just kind of pushing you forward. A very funny because he reminds me of a Kane from the Amazing Digital Circus. Basically, he's got this wacky
Yeah.
cartoonish. He's like a game show TV host
Mhm.
essentially. So
Which is funny because we've already had a game
and
show TV host in Undertale. So
I know it's very funny that like he's doing Metaton's shtick, but in a
it's really
way
funny
that
because it's
feels
clueless. Because I'm clueless on Deltarune, so it's like I don't even know what Deltarune is. Because I've been like, I'll get to it when it's done, and I'm starting to just go, oh, should I just start fucking playing it? Because I feel like I'm gonna get spoilers. But it's like I see these screenshots of, oh look, here's characters that are in Undertale in Deltarune. I'm just like, I'm very confused. Does it make sense if you're actually playing it, Hunter? Because it's just very confusing for
yeah,
somebody
yeah.
looking
It makes
from
sense
the
in the
outside.
context of what you're. It makes sense in the context of going from beginning to end on Delta, or beginning to what's there of Deltarune. um, but yeah, I can see how it would be like it would look like some kind of bizarro land Photoshop.
It
Just
looks like a
seeing
shit post.
screenshots
It
of
looks
some.
like a shit post.
Yeah.
It's like, oh look, here's Sans Undertale with Glubbo Shitto in Deltarune, and I'm like, what the fuck is this game, dude? Like, genuinely, I'm just sitting there. I'm like, I've gotten like, it's very weird because it's like I like Undertale. I don't love Undertale. I love the soundtrack. Toby Fox, the greatest composer. What a gamer, dude. But so it's like I want to play Deltarune mainly because I want to listen to the music. But it's like I'm sitting there going, oh, maybe it's time. With chapter 4, like everybody's screaming spoilers all over the place. I'm like, maybe it is time to, because
Oh man,
my other
I have
hope is
plenty
just
to do.
5, 6, and 7 all come out like together. That it's just one more drop. That's my hope.
Probably, I could see
Um,
that being. I like in just the couple hours I was playing of it earlier. I can already see how it ended up taking him so long to do or
yeah,
get these two because like if right off the get go when they're introducing Henna is what his name is, the TV guy. Um, he it sends you into like this really rudimentary early 3D graphics kind of TV commercial deal, and I'm like, oh yeah, there's where all the time went. Having to make these Jimmy Neutron graphics probably took a minute, you
especially when
know.
you realize that the original Undertale was like coded with hopes and dreams and duct tape, dude. Like that game is just
Yeah,
like
that's yeah,
that game
exactly.
has
And
like
then
20,000 if statements just throughout the whole thing. So it's like, yeah, God help
yeah,
him.
and then like some of the guys' other sprites there, are, like also not just basic 2D sprites. They're like the old Mortal Kombat arcade sprites where it was like
Mm.
Oh,
motion captured
Cap.
and
Oh
shrunk
my
down and
god.
stuff.
Oh, lovely. Yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah. Mm.
That's
it's
awesome.
I'm just sitting there going like, oh, I can definitely understand how it would take you and your couple of friends that are helping you so long to get this done. And I haven't even got to part 4 yet. I've only been playing chapter 3 for a little bit here.
Yeah, yeah.
But Yeah. So far,
It's
it's been just entertaining. I'm like, I feel like he fell into a really good groove with the writing and such in Deltarune, like
mm,
in a way where, you know, the haha weird has a little bit more substance
a little bit more
without
bite,
also
yeah.
trying to be like be a good person or you're evil kind of deal. Like it just kind of more willing to tell you tell you the story on hand.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like when you look at the Switch 2 launch, I've been seeing a load of people online kind of complain about, is the Switch 2 launch the worst Nintendo launch in history? And I'm like, no. Remember, kids, you bought an N64 for Wave Race and Mario, and that's all you fucking had. So it's like, let's not be like, let's be real here. There's been worse.
The GameCube didn't
What
even
about
have
the Wii
Melee
U?
at the launch day.
No.
Yeah, they got it like a month later.
You didn't even get. You
Yeah.
didn't even get. Did you even get Sunshine? You got Luigi's Mansion, right? You didn't even get Sunshine. You
Yeah,
got
Yeah, it was
Luigi's
Luigi's
Mansion.
Mansion.
Come the fuck on, right? But it's like I'm just sitting here. I'm like,
Was
yeah, you get
was
Mario
Prime
Kart.
also a launch?
You get Mario Kart, whatever. But it's like, if you're not in the privileged position where you own every single console, I'm just sitting there and I'm going, man, obviously, Deltarune's cross-gen, whatever, but it's like, just to sit there and thinking, if you're just a Nintendo fan, that you can sit there right now and you can boot up Mario Kart, or you can play Cyberpunk on a really good port of. It's a really good port, guys, of Cyberpunk. It's running really well. One of the best RPGs that I've played in the last decade.
The only third party game that has
An actual
all
physical
of it on the
release. Yeah.
cartridge. Yeah,
Dude, I'm not
including
joking
key
you. If it
card.
wasn't £60, I would be supporting them. But CD Projekt Red, I've bought that game for like 3 other people and myself. Give me a break. I'll buy it on sale. But not even thinking about that. And it's like, you've got that. You've got Yakuza 0, like one of my favorite games from the past decade as well. I love Yakuza 0 to pieces. The fact that you're getting that running at 4K 60 on Switch 2, hell yeah. Fast Fusion, fantastic. It's like, yeah, there's a load of
But
ports, but there are a load of ports of some really damn good games that if you have only had a Switch since 2017 and you're hopping on over, you've got some peak in front of you there, ladies and gentlemen. Like, God, my God.
that's something I feel like a lot of people lose sight of when it comes to Switch ports in general. Like even during the Switch's own life cycle, there people forget that some people only have the Nintendo Switch. Some people don't also buy the PlayStation or whatever.
Some
So,
people
you
don't want
know,
to spend
like
$3 on a PC to play Cyberpunk. You
yeah,
know?
or that as well. And it's like in that case, yeah. If you were to distill a lot of like just because it doesn't get me to go, just because it didn't get me to go back and play it all the time when I had another console doesn't mean that it wasn't servicing the audience that only had the Switch. And I would say that's also true for the Switch too. And people who still only have the Switch now have access to other things that they couldn't play, at least not in any respectable state before.
And I think to bring Cal's point back from earlier, right? It's like when the PS5 generation happened, let's be real here. Well, let's not even talk about Xbox, because what the fuck did they do? Like, let's be real here. As someone who owns an Xbox, number one, Phil Spencer, love it in this chat. I love him. He's my favorite. Can't wait for tomorrow, or in your guys' terms, the next hour when I get pissed off. But yeah, it's like Xbox had no games to show for it, and PlayStation had
Mhm.
Spider-Man and a Little Big Planet game. Don't get me wrong, Sackboy is fantastic. I love Sackboy. Brilliant game. But no real bite to it. Nothing that you couldn't play already on PS4. And the difference between that leap is, I don't think people remember. Like, people are like, oh, they're just ports, and they're making comparisons to how, like, oh yeah, Assassin's Creed and Watch Dogs got PS5 ports when that came out. I'm like, yeah, but you could play those on your PS4, and rightfully so. You still could. You could play Horizon Forbidden West and God
Yeah.
of War. There was no way to play Yakuza 0 before. There was no way to play Cyberpunk 2077 on your original Nintendo Switch. It's like, these are new
God, no.
experiences. You might have played them 5 years ago, but that dad who's bought a new Switch for his kids because they wanted the new Mario Kart, who when they've gone to bed want something to piss about with, will buy Cyberpunk, and it's a really good version of Cyberpunk, you know? It's like, I think people live in this kind of privileged state of just thinking, I've already got access to something. I really like, who cares? Who cares about the Cyberpunk port? Who cares about the Yakuza 0 port? Who cares about X, Y, or Z? And I'm like, there are people that will care. And to them, I think it's a really solid lineup. I mean, you've got a Mario Kart game for everybody that gives a shit. You've got Nintendo Switch 2 Welcome Tour for people who are sadistic. You have got You know, for people who are looking for a more mature experiences, you've got Yakuza 0. You've got for more Japanese like catered fans. For the West, you've got a really
Bravely
good port of
Default,
Cyberpunk.
yeah.
You've got Bravely Default, a remaster of a 3DS game. You've got Sonic. You've got so much stuff that just you go on that you just play Fiction. You've got so much stuff that you can just play. And you've got Donkey Kong coming in a month. You've probably got Metroid coming in a couple of months. You know, you've got the Mario Party update.
They
You've got
say
the
when
Kirby
Elden Ring was
update.
coming.
Elden Ring is this year, and it'll probably play like ass, but you know, it's fine, because all FromSoft games play like ass wherever they are. It's fine, you know? Like,
I was gonna say if they could get if they can make Cyberpunk work with the given machine, I think that Elden Ring will work as well as it does anywhere else.
yeah,
Yeah.
which is terribly, but it's fine. It's FromSoft. We give them a pass. It's all good. But it's
It
like,
runs badly and we call it cinematic.
it's sick. But it's like, I think this is far from a bad launch. I think this is a stronger launch than the PS5 and Xbox Series had. It's not much of a now.
Like
Yeah, it's not launching with a Zelda game. Whoop-de-doo, right? Well, technically it is because you can play the the old ones in
yeah.
60 FPS.
I was also gonna say
go
if,
play Wind
like
Waker, you fools.
Or Breath of the Wild, or Tears
I
of the
would
Kingdom
say
in
that
60
I
FPS.
would say that it covers a wider breadth of things if you don't like a certain like if you got a Switch at launch and didn't care about Zelda, then seek help, but also like
Dude,
there
I'm
wasn't
telling
much to
you.
do besides snipper clips.
Dude, I'm telling you, Hunter. I'm telling you, mate. I doubt that you've had a chance yet, dude. But I booted up Tears of the Kingdom just a little bit because I was like, oh, go on then, indulge me, let me see how it is. And I was just sitting there and I'm like, oh, this makes me want to play the game again, dude. It's one of those things where it's like actually game changing because it's just like,
I thought about doing that first, like just symbolically, like the way I booted up Breath of the Wild before starting Mario Odyssey. But then I was like, oh, I will. If I do that, there's a chance I'm just there all day.
dude, legit. I genuinely was just walking around the plains for half an hour, not even doing anything, just walking around going, oh my god, good frame rate. What a revolution. Like, genuinely, I'm just saying, like, to the point to where I'm like, they better not. Like, when you're making the next Zelda game, I want it to look like this. Like, keep it in the really high, like, FPS. Make it 60 because my god, it's like a life altering experience, dude. Where I'm just sitting there and I'm like, oh my god, I love this. This is fantastic. Just being able to dive from the from the heights to the depths with no stutters, no nothing. It's just like beautiful. It's like incredible. I love it. Um, but even then, it's like you can go and play with that if you want to, and you've got all those free updates for your Switch One games. We've not even talked about Kyle. I know that you played a little bit of Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. How were you finding that?
Dude, it felt like an entirely different video game. Being able to turn the camera and move around the open area and just have zero stutters. Shit was
Someone,
magic.
I listened to someone else talk about that, and they're like, "This shouldn't be allowed. Science has gone too far. You fundamentally changed what this is."
Dude, and the funny thing
Exactly.
is, you know, Game Freak did absolutely fuck all in this. This is just the Switch 2's raw power, just pumping that fucker
Yeah.
in. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just like, we'll fix your game, sure.
It's like, yes, this is how the game should have played normally. It kind of makes me want to do a replay of it
yeah, I think
at
that's
some
why.
point.
I think that's what's beautiful. Unfortunately, I lent a lot of the games that have updates to friends, so it's like I can't try Odyssey, I can't try stuff like that. But it's like just hopping around and looking at little bits and pieces. It was even like it just makes me sit there and I'm like, I really hope we get more Switch 2 updates, more Switch 2 editions, because it's like I walked around Xenoblade 2 and just walking through Torrigoth with the frame rate actually staying at 30, because we've all been there. If you played Xenoblade 2, my god, the frame rate literally is a roller coaster. It will go down to 2 FPS like every 5 seconds. And it's just like, oh, this is great. But it hasn't been patched for the higher resolution, so it still looks like ass, but the frame rate's good. You're like, oh, the potential's there, dude. The potential's there.
I think updates and stuff like that, or Switch 2 editions of things, are probably gonna fill in the slot that
The new drip
Wii U
feed, the new drip
ports.
feed, dude, the new
Yeah,
drip feed. Yeah,
it's gonna fill in the slot that the Wii U ports did
I'm
in the
hoping.
prior generation. I would expect.
A man can dream. I will be cheering. I'll fist bump
Ugly
the air
boxes
when
and all
yeah,
for all of them.
when Xenoblade 2 gets an update. I'll be like, hell yeah, finally. Um, But no, I was the same. I didn't boot into Pokemon because I don't have a save anymore, and I didn't feel like replaying it, especially that tutorial because the tutorial of Scarlet and Violet's boring as hell. But
Dude, it's like an hour.
yeah, it's really bad. But what I did do was another absolute chug fest on the original Switch. Hyrule Warriors: Age of Calamity. Everyone's favorite. Booted up that real quick. Again, not a single frame drop. It's just locked at 30 now. Where I'm just like, what a game changer, dude! For the
Oh,
what
that's
a
a good
game
sign for the
changer.
new one.
I don't know about that, dude. They'll push the resolution too high and it'll be back to 2 FPS. But at least you can play the first one how it was supposed to be played. I just, I don't know. It just makes me optimistic, really, because
Yeah.
yeah, we were talking, Hunter. We talked about it in the past. When it's like Spike Chunsoft recently have been doing a lot of Nintendo Switch timed exclusives with like Raincode or with the new AI and the Somnium Files, and Raincode ran like ass on Switch. And it's always been when something's a timed exclusive for Switch, I've always been like, if I have to, like if I have to put up with it, I guess I will. But my hope is because games are still being made for PS4. We're not at a point now where it's out of the realm of possibility that games can just run on Switch too. Where I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
hell yeah, I would 100% be up for buying Persona 3 Reload or whatever on Switch 2. That seems like a great place to play it. It's like we're at that level now where I'm like, I think you can do. We don't need miracle ports anymore. Cyberpunk isn't a miracle port. It's just a really good port for hardware. Where I'm like, oh, you're not. There's no big asterisk. You're not playing a shitty version of the game anymore. You're not playing
Yeah, you're
Doom
not
with the
like
smudge
it's
filter over it. Yeah.
or whatever Mortal 1 Combat's Switch version was,
Or The Witcher, where it was looking, a
which
bit
was
crunchy.
tantamount to fraud.
Yeah. Um, yeah, it makes me very optimistic. Kyle, what else have you been playing? Obviously, you played a little bit of Scarlet and Violet. You played anything else?
Yeah. Two of us, we've been playing some Mario Kart World.
Yeah.
I've also been playing Soul Calibur 2. Finished the story mode of that. I didn't grow up with Soul Calibur 2 like Hunter did, but I know if I did grow up with it, I would have played the shit out of it.
Yeah, yeah.
This it's one of those games where I know if I played it, it would have done something to my brain as a child
Mm.
in like a positive way, probably.
Probably. Maybe.
He says in a positive way, glances up at me, maybe.
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 Maybe. But yeah.
No, Soul Calibur 2 is great. I do love me some 2000s funny model charm.
Yeah.
But yeah, Mario Kart is the other big one that's been taking up my free time. That shit feels so good. As someone who completely avoided Mario Kart 8, the last Mario Kart game I actually played was Wii, like properly played. I
Yeah.
did play 8, but that was only ever like with friends on their Switches when I was over visiting them. I never
Mhm.
owned it myself. I gotta say, it feels really good to be to play a Mario Kart again.
Yeah, it's an interesting one, really. It's like it feels weird because we haven't had a Mario Kart in so long. We have just been stuck with 8 for the past 11 years. So it feels weird stepping back into a new Mario Kart game. And it's weird how little has changed, yet how the little improvements that they have made are so good that it's like I almost forgive it. It's like,
Mhm.
oh, good, we're still sitting here with no single player content really, other than the stupid Grand Prix where you just
Grand
get
Prix and
bummed
time
by
trials.
garbage AI for 60 minutes at a time, dude. Like, genuinely. The AI in this game are evil. The amount of clips I have of them drop kicking me from the sun is like unreal, dude. Like, genuinely.
Dude, I don't even know if it's the AI being tuned up or the fact that there's 23 other racers.
Oh, I 100% think it's the AI being tuned up because I'm always in first and it's whoever's in second comes down with the hammer, dude. Like, it's never like. Online is a different beast, dude. But, in single player, it's kind of. I think
Dude,
the single.
just at
Yeah.
work the other day, I saw Jeff Grubb already finding stupid shortcuts for one of the tracks, and I was like, "Oh wow, no wonder, no wonder no one can win online."
It's refreshing though to have new stuff though. That's what I think is interesting. It's like, you know, I think everybody is sitting like there's a lot to love about it. I think 24 Players is brilliant. I think it's really great. I think the interconnected world stuff is really interesting. Um, I think it works pretty well for the most part. I think Knockout Tour is fantastic. I think Knockout Tour
Oh yeah.
is what this game's going to be remembered for. I think it's going to be the mode that most people play when they're not messing around with friends. I think it is a brilliant addition that I think a lot of people are going to all be in agreement of why hasn't this been a thing before? Like genuinely in Mario Kart, obviously other games have done it in the past, but why has it taken this long to come up with this idea of having a battle to the death really instead of just the usual Mario Kart fuckery? I think it's genius. Um, that single player offering though, man, it's like fucking hell, it's still as garbage as ever.
Still leaves a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, like CTR and Diddy Kong Racing were both doing proper campaign modes in the 90s, and we're sitting here in 2025, and you still just got 8 Grand Prix, where this time they've hidden the 8th one so that when you beat 7, they can go, oh, look, there's an 8th one. Wow, that's crazy. Like that, we're just doing that. Um,
Yeah.
I think
Wild to me that they didn't bring back mission mode again from
which is
Mario Kart
kind of in the
DS.
free roam mode. That's kind of what free roam is you
I
hit these P
guess,
switches
yeah.
and there's loads of little missions. I played that for quite a few hours today, and my opinion of that is, again, I think it leaves a lot to be desired, really. I don't think it's as fully fleshed out as you'd want it to be. Um, it is just little, do these trick shots in the right row and get a stamp, which are fucking pointless. Um,
Dude, have you figured out what to do with those Princess Peach tokens that are out in the world? Do they
They're
do
just
anything?
so what I'm currently trying to figure out is how to unlock mirror mode. That's what I'm currently trying to figure out. So
Oh
I have
shit.
I've 3-starred all Grand Prix. I have done 50 P switches. I have got over 40 of the question mark things, and I've got over 15 of the coins. And people are saying that something to do with playing offline knockout tours. You need to win every knockout tour online as well. That might be the final thing I need to do to unlock mirror mode. But it's like, dude, like I say, offline knockout tour, absolute dog shit. Like it's miserable. Playing Mario Kart by yourself is not fun when you're not playing online, because it literally was, again, number 2 in the AI just fucks you at the end, and then it's like, oh well, there goes 10 minutes of your life. Play it again, dum dum. Play it again. 10
Yep.
more minutes, and it's just like. Also, to get 3 stars on knockout tour, you need to be in first on every single checkpoint. Like that is mental. Not doing that. Even my ADHD doesn't want to do that. Like no, I just want to win. Like I don't care about doing that. But I just sit there and I still think, yeah. Also, is there a way to do free roam with online people? Like I haven't seen, other than the lobby while you're waiting for other
Didn't
matches,
they?
I've not seen a method
Oh,
where you can
okay.
just hang out. Have you seen that option, Kyle? Am I just being stupid? I've not.
No, I haven't seen anything. Unless it's like a private rooms thing you have to
Maybe,
do.
yeah, maybe it's if you make a lobby and before you start the match, you can just hang out. I think,
Yeah. I don't know. I haven't looked up anything about this game.
I just
I
think,
was gonna say,
I
I
think
thought
the
it was
game,
advertised to be able to do that free roam with your buddies
and
thing,
I
but
think
Yeah.
it
yes,
might just be
that
in
is just
private.
the
Yeah,
yeah.
Private rooms
I
would
think
make
a really,
sense.
I just think in a similar vein to Forza Horizon, I really think that this game, again, could be it's great. I think it's fantastic. The online I love. The 24 people races is fantastic. The knockout tour is fucking banging, dude. Like absolute game changer. That's probably what I'll spend most of my time on in this game, is that knockout tour mode, because I think it's that good. But like I'm just sitting there and I'm like, we made everything interconnected in this whole world, but you don't have a mode where you can just go into a
It seems like
lobby
it would
with
be
23
primed
other
for an
people.
adventure mode
Yeah, or just
too,
yeah,
with that.
an adventure mode, or just going into a free roam, like GTA Online or whatever, where it's just 23 other people are just hanging out in this map, and you can start spur of the moment races. You can just go to a track and go, hey, do you want to race this? Hey, do you want to do, like, again, it feels like this half step where I'm like, just want that little bit extra. Just want that little bit extra where I'm like, Like they could do it in a fucking update, really. In all things considered, they could add this stuff. But I am sitting there and I'm going, man, the base of this game is so damn fantastic. Like I say, the controls are pretty great, except for the water controls. I still think they're not that
Except
fantastic.
water controls. That shit is
It's
ass.
actually garbage. Like it's really bad. But I think for the most part the controls are really nice. The tricks are interesting, and I think there's some really cool movement tech, and the items for the most part are the better balanced than 8, which is whatever. But I
You
think
still get coins and feathers in first, but
yeah,
that's
I think
who
that
cares?
I think the core of it is fantastic. It's just like these little expectations. Waited 11 years for a Mario Kart, and it's like we've made it one big world, but only if you're in a private lobby. You can't go in. You
With an
can't. Yeah,
asterisk.
with a big asterisk where it's like it's filled with P switches and coins to collect, and I'm like, anything else to do? Yeah. Why aren't we going to Moo Moo Meadows and there's a cow on the side of the road that's like, bet you can't beat my fucking time? And then I'm like, I bet I can, cow. Like, why aren't we doing that? Why not mix all the modes? Like mix the time trials in there, mix just you can do that. Like, just little baby steps. Little baby steps.
Yeah, like the whole interconnected world thing seems like it would have been teed up great for an adventure mode kind of thing where, moving your way across the map. They do stupid Mario spin-off stories where, I don't know, Bowser stole the engines of whatever, etc. And then you find your jerks on the side of the road being like, can't beat my time.
Yeah,
Probably
like,
teach you something about the track while you're trying to do it, kind of deal,
or just like,
Nothing
yeah.
nothing crazy, just like a good thing to familiarize yourself with it before you
Or like I say, just going into a lobby,
play it
like,
more.
you know, you're just driving around in a public lobby or whatever, and then a little pop up comes up saying this person wants to battle, and you just press the accept button, and whoever accepts it teleports everybody into the middle of where one of the battle courses is, and you just do it that way,
Mhm.
a bit more organic instead of just going to battle mode, which I haven't tried yet. I do need to go and try battle mode. I like the game a lot. I think the game's pretty great. But I do sit there and I go, why are they charging $80 for this fucker? Like, there's nothing here that screams to me, this is extra premium. Like, I'm not sitting here and going, like, when I was playing Tears of the Kingdom, I kind of understood. I was like, oh, this is like big, chunky story game. Like, I can understand why you kind of want to move up to where everybody else has moved up. But for them to go, we're going to go one step ahead for this, I'm like,
With Mario Kart.
why? What have you got to show for it? Knockout Tour, it's fantastic. It's not $80 fantastic though, like
But it is really good.
it is really good.
Ethan and I both won our first matches
It's
we
true.
ever played on Knockout Tour.
It's true.
Oh, you guys are real good at this game.
Yeah. I'm not. Oh, trust me. If you saw my gameplay yesterday, I was not. I was getting constantly,
Oh
absolutely
my god.
handed to me yesterday. It was a nightmare day for me. But
Rosalina is your enemy.
I think, well, anybody online's my enemy, dude. I was genuinely coming like anywhere between 15th and 24th every fucking game last
Yep.
night. Just by getting
Well, you
barraged
did
at the
steal a
end.
win from me once, so
That's why I'm a king, dude. But no, I think
you
the
and your
game's
fucking burger
fantastic.
toad.
I don't know if it's $80 fantastic, and I do sit there and I go, you did good. You could have done a bit more. And hey, maybe DLC fixes that. Maybe when we come to the end of this game's life and there's actually 5 maps, because they did 4 mini ones that are all based off of different Nintendo IP, maybe I'll look back at it and go, hey, perhaps I treated you too harshly. Maybe this is a banger of a game, dude. But also, a lot of it's just Mario Kart, which is great. It's fine. I love it. Like I say, I think it's the core's there. It's fantastic. $80 fantastic though. That's interesting. Do you know what's not worth it any money? Fucking Welcome Tour. Don't buy it. My review's up if you care about that. But the
Despite him
TLDR.
saying don't buy it, it's only a hesitant.
Well, it's only a hesitant because it's like it's one of those things where it's like if you
They did too much.
if you are a regular of youtube.com/digital foundry, there might be something for you there. Like if you are like, I really love watching console teardowns and talking about frame rate and gimmicks, and I really want to know what the new features of the system are. I can understand somebody going, oh, okay, that's an interesting way of going about it. Like, there's some kind of, they've put a lot of effort into it to the point where it's like, okay, I can understand if that's what you want, that someone could pay $10 and go, hey, at least it's not dog shit. It's a quality enough product. I just sit there and go, why isn't it free? And like, let's be real here. Who actually cares? Like, even as somebody who is into that kind of stuff, I was bored within like 2 hours of playing it, and I had to play it for like 6 or 7 to review the bastard. So it was like,
Jeez.
Well, you also can't even play the whole game if you don't buy all the accessories either.
yeah, because there's separate sections for
Ouch.
the Pro Controller and the camera. Um, it just, it's like literally, it's not worth it. Like everyone's sitting there going, "Oh, but you know, it's quirky." I'm like, "No, it's not. It's just boring." I'm sorry,
Like,
but
hey, you know what was quirky
if
and free?
any,
Astro's Playroom.
literally, everyone's sitting there and it's like, "Oh yeah, don't sleep on it. It could be another Astro." I'm like, "No, it's not, because Astro is an actual video game, whereas this is like
A manual.
this is like going to a TED talk, and not a good TED talk. Like it's like, oh, it's like going to a conference where it's like, you know, you go to one store and it's like, hey, do you want to touch this weird looking fucking, like, you know, goo? And I'm like, yeah, I want to touch the weird goo. I'm like, great content, Then I go to the next one and they just want to talk about this really boring like IT software that they've made. No, I don't want to. Like, I just want to touch the goo. I don't want to. I don't want to read. That's what this game is. You'll have one fun mini game, and it's like, and now do you want to learn about magnets? No, I don't want to learn about magnets. There should just be a button in the menu, which is just like, do you just want to play the mini games? Cool, there are the mini games. Like, I don't want to, and it's just like, it's just little shit. Like, you know, I'm just sitting there. There's like one of the little games is you take the two Joy Cons in your hand and you shake them like maracas, and HD Rumble 2. No offense, HD Rumble 2. You know what haptic feedback on the DualSense, right? I've already seen the future. I'm sitting here shaking these maracas, and I'm like, this is garbage compared to what Astro was doing 5 years ago with the DualSense. Like, I'm like, it's just not as good. It just isn't as good. So I'm sitting here with this tech demo. It's like, it feels like maracas. I'm like, it really doesn't. Like, this is not great. Why? Like, there's a mini game where you have to place it place it down on the mouse, and it's like you have to move it through a grid, and it's like find where the vibration's the strongest. And I shit you not, I am yet to get even fucking close. I cannot tell the difference.
Oh my god.
The amount of footage I had of the review, which was just me going, yeah, I think it's there. And it's like, you're 80 meters away. And I'm like, I cannot tell the difference between this entire surface. Like, it's just not good.
It went from hot and cold for intended purposes to Minesweeper for Ethan.
It's just, yeah. I just, yeah. I can see there'll be people that like Welcome Tour because they're really into knowing about the tech behind a console, and they find it really interesting to think of, you know, to hear about the thought process between why, you know, why did they make the magnets the way that they did? Why are the analog sticks like that? And it's just like, yeah, fair enough, but for most people, you're gonna sit there, like, if you buy that a kid, unless they're like a really geeky kid that's like really into like building things and having little, like, you know, hobbies, like, no one's gonna care. Everyone's gonna go on board. Can I play Mario Kart? Can I play that Donkey Kong game? Like, no one's gonna give a shit about this. Um,
Yeah.
but they did put enough effort in where I wasn't like, I'm like, this is boring and nobody should buy it. But also, it wasn't bad. That's why I didn't give it a 2, because I'm like, what they did make here is, you know, it's serviceable. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's not buggy. It's not like, if you go in with the right intentions, you could say
That
that you
would be
like it.
it would be impressive for that to be buggy. It sounds like the kind of thing that you would have to try to make
Yeah,
not
basically.
function.
Yeah,
We did it. Our
basically.
tech demo doesn't work.
It is it's a
Woo!
glorified tech demo. It feels like a glorified thing that if this was 5 or 6 years ago, this would be on an E3 show floor to showcase what the Switch could do. This is literally the
Yeah.
Walmart game, dude. You stick this in Walmart, and so when people walk up, they can be
Oh
bored
yeah,
about the
the
haptic
kiosk
feedback.
game.
Yeah, and you sit there and you go, "Why isn't Mario Kart the kiosk game? What the fuck is this?"
Yeah.
Um,
Like it's the same energy as charging for the 1-2 Switch, except they had the foresight not to charge the entire price tag for it.
But yeah, I was like just sitting here with a corner desk like this, like fucking. What was it? Was his name Wade in Kim Possible, dude? I was sitting like
Oh yeah.
this, going like, like that. I'm just sitting there like, who has got the space for this? Like, genuinely. Like, ugh, the mouse is cool.
Just
When the
getting
mouse
yourself
works, the
ready
mouse
for
is
Drag
actually,
X Drive.
when the mouse works, the mouse is genuinely quite intuitive. It feels quite good. I'm looking forward to trying it with Metroid in a real video game. That'll be fun. But yeah.
It would probably be a decent way to play like Resident Evil 4, the original version.
Oh yeah, that'd be a great way to play Resident Evil 4. Actually, that would. If they ever do another fucking port of that bad boy. Yeah. I cannot find the
Yeah,
box
I
on my
guess you
inventory.
wouldn't. I guess it wouldn't.
It's
I guess it
German.
wouldn't work with the version that you could buy already because
They
it
haven't
wouldn't have
patched it
that
in.
in mind. Yeah.
Oh, dude. Put it on the GameCube launcher.
That's the spirit. Now you're thinking, Cal. Now you're thinking.
Hunter, you laugh. That's a GameCube exclusive.
Yeah, exclusive
I
for
also think these things are
a
pointless.
year.
Whatever these are, Nintendo, like they're fucking
The wrist
useless, dude.
straps.
Yeah,
Oh
they're
yeah, the little
useless.
grip things.
Why are we still doing this, dude?
I don't know what happened to the ones that I got for the Switch one, but they disappeared like shortly into my
I think
ownership of that thing.
Mm.
one
And
thing I would
these
like,
ones
yeah,
are never going to see any use either because I'm never taking the Joy-Cons. I'm never going to use the Joy-Cons like that.
yeah, and there's a part of me that's like, it's nifty that you can use them as mice, and it works surprisingly well, but also, I think you really should just patch into the firmware that anything that can be used as a Joy-Con mouse, you also just have normal mouse support. Just let people plug a mouse in. If they want to use a fucking mouse, let them plug a mouse in. Because it's not that ergonomic. I'm sure that Hori and all those other weirdos are gonna make like fucking transformer ass things where you build it around the Joy-Con to make it a normal mouse shape. But just support mice, like just get a
The
regular mouse
Joy-Con will
support.
just slide into an actual mouse
Yeah,
or
exactly.
something.
Yeah, that's what. Someone's gonna do it, but just support regular mouse. Has anyone else got anything they wanted to mention about Switch 2? I like it so far. It's pretty good.
It's
Yeah.
good, yeah.
I like it. I'll probably play I'll probably just do it. The next few indie games I choose to play will probably just be on this, so I have something until Donkey Kong.
This is looking ahead to
Yeah.
later topics in the episode, but I already pre-ordered my copy of Final Fantasy Tactics Remaster for Switch.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll have that when that comes out.
Yeah. What's fun about that one as well is it's got a free upgrade for Switch 2, which is nice.
Oh, yeah, that means you can have the actual cartridge and the upgrade.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And a not ugly box.
All of the best things.
That's a triple whammy right there. I'll probably do the same thing when Legend ZA comes out.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah,
that'll be how it goes for me for Somnium Files.
The thing with ZA is, like I said, I've already got that cheap pre-order in for Switch 1, so it just makes more sense. But I've got to give it to Nintendo. I'm really impressed. Obviously, we had the Switch 2 edition game cards. How are they going to work and stuff like that? I've got to say fair play to them that it is the best of both worlds. Those Switch 2 edition carts work on both Switch 1 and 2. If you plug it into a Switch 1, it plays the Switch 1 game. If you plug it into a Switch 2, it plugs. So that's like the best of both worlds for physical.
Oh, shit.
So if you buy a Switch 2 edition game, it works on both consoles and it has both versions of the game on the cart, which is kind of impressive. So
that's crazy.
I remember when I got Resident Evil Village. I tried putting it in my PlayStation 4 just because I wasn't convinced that there was anything different about the disc. It didn't work. And I was like, well, I figured as much, but also, like, what could they have possibly done?
Yeah, it's like a really cool, smart delivery.
I respect it.
Yeah. I think that's really cool. Not enough for me to pay double for, like, Pokemon Legends, EA, and Metroid. Like, but, like,
yeah,
like,
what?
If you're
why
a game
would I ever be wanting
collector,
to stick these into my Switch?
If you're for game preservation, if you are someone that's I really love game preservation, it's like, hey, those new copies of Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom that have just come out are the latest patches of those games, and it has both the Switch 1 and Switch 2 version all on the cart. That's nice for preservation. I mean, the Breath of the Wild doesn't have DLC, Lamau get wrecked nerds, but it's something at least. You know, it's probably the best way physically to buy them. It's just a shame the box art's absolutely ugly as sin. You
Yeah.
can't make me.
Can't have everything.
You can't have everything, dude. But don't worry, when we're all buying Drag X Dry for $70, we'll all be
Dude, I would
hooting
settle
and
for if
hollering.
they were just the inverted covers were just textless versions of stuff. That way it could get rid of the Switch 2 editions of things.
Yeah, I
I
know,
would
right? I think what's
I
really
would tolerate that.
I think what's really dumb is I've seen it on the online where it's like they're still doing the reverse cover art, but because the boxes are like translucent red, you cannot see really very well what the background art is anymore. I'm like, you lost a bit of the magic there, because I do like how the Switch boxes are transparent, so you just get a nice looking like piece of art on the inside. And they've tried it again, so it's like Breath of the Wild still has Link climbing up the mountain on the inside, but it's all got a red hue all over it because you're just staring through opaque red like case. It just, I'm just sitting
Yeah,
there going,
yeah,
oh, that
because
sucks.
like that was the because I ended up not flipping as many of my covers for the Switch games because they were mostly made with the intention of being a thing to
In the
look at
colours.
when you open it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas, with the ones I flip around for the PlayStation, they are just other covers instead of things you open up and look at.
Dude, I'd be happy if every alternate Switch reverse to reverse art was just the exact same, but it gets rid of the ugly fucking bar at the top and replaces it like with a square again, like a normal fucking like designer would do. Like, my god, I hate the ugly border, the fucking Switch 2, Switch 2. And the logo's so small. Like, if you're gonna do that, at least like make the logo bigger. Like, why have you got this big ugly red chunk at the top with a tiny piddly logo centered at the front? Like, dumbass game
I don't
design.
know why it needs to be in a whole bar instead of just like a little postage stamp kind
Yeah,
of
like
thing
the
if they were
Switch
going to make
One.
it
The
look.
Switch One. Honestly, Switch One, goated box art design. One of the best. Literally, little stamp in the corner. Also,
Yeah, like really, the boxes are so small, so it's almost a shame that they got it so good because there's less real estate to appreciate.
dude, it pisses me off because I think I'm like almost convinced that they did it on purpose, not in the way of like the malicious. Oh, the people will buy digital if the boxes are ugly. I mean it that they did it just to piss off people that like collecting physical, because not only is the ugly border on top, but in North America, where all the old box arts in Switch 1 are vertical, so it's like from left to left onwards, it's all aligned left, like, from the logo down. In America now, all centered like Europe used to be for Switch 1, and for Europe, they're all now the North American way. They swapped them for no fucking reason. They're doing it on purpose. They are doing
That's
it on
hilarious.
purpose.
Comedy.
Which is annoying,
That's very
because I've
funny.
always preferred the European version of centering them, because they kind of look cool, so it just annoys me that now we're stuck with the ugly American version. I'm like, why? Like, it's ugh. Anyway, don't buy a Switch 2. Whoever fucking did the graphic design, don't ever design again. 4 out of 5. Recommend
I
it.
feel like because they got it so good with the Switch, it's one of those things where, like, it's like a Discord update where it's like, we got it as good as we can get. Time to start breaking it now, kind of thing.
Literally, what did they have to do, Hunter? Change the logo in the cube in the square to a little fucking Switch 2 logo, and just make the spines partially red at the top, and then have the color flow through now. Like, have the cover wrap over instead of it being all red. That's all they had to do. That's all they had to fucking do.
Yeah.
Change the shade a little bit. My god. Anyway.
Nintendo, hire this man.
No, don't. Just hire somebody competent, please. For the love of God, you don't have to hire me. Just hire somebody competent. Anyway, let's move on. Topic of the show over, ladies and gentlemen. This is not going to take as
we're
long,
doing
I
this
promise
now?
you. Yeah, we're doing it now. We might as well.
Shit, I thought we were gonna wait until Xbox.
No. We'll do.
And then just do all 3 of them.
No, because I want as much of this done now, dude, so that when we come back for Xbox, I can just bitch about Xbox and then get on with my day, dude. I don't have that much time to edit. So,
Or if we do everything now and Xbox doesn't have anything that warrants
we
coming
can ignore
back
it,
for,
and
we
it'll
can
just be
not.
it'll just be me coming back going, nothing happened, and that'll be it, and it'll be great. But what we're gonna do quickly is, because it's not gonna take very long. Obviously, the State of Play and Summer Game Fest. It was that shit. I've forgotten the name of it. Happened over the past couple of days. Hunter, Hot take. What did you think? Let's start with State of Play. What do you think of State of Play, Hunter? Hot takes. Hot takes only, dude.
You know, it wasn't great, but it had some stuff I thought was all right.
Yeah, I think people overreacted on how bad that State of Play was. I thought it was actually probably in the upper half of State of Plays, if we're honest with you. Like, I thought that it was very
Yeah, like it
specific
wasn't
to
as
Japan, but you know, it had some stuff there. It had some
like
stuff.
it wasn't as good. Like it wasn't as good as the one from earlier this year or the one from a couple of years ago that had Resident Evil and Street Fighter. But it wasn't as bad as like Dio Field Chronicle and Exo Primal.
True.
Mm.
True. Kyle, how did you feel about it?
I like this one a lot. There was a lot of cool stuff they showed.
Yeah. I'm like, couldn't complain really. Like, for State of Plays,
Yeah.
my expectations are usually below the floor, like, genuinely. Like, it's like,
I mean,
It's
considering this
like
was just kind of like announced a day before it was gonna
yeah,
happen, I'm like, all right, whatever happens, happens, dude. I know this is only gonna take like 40 minutes out of my day, so
true.
at least it didn't waste 2 hours of my life.
You know, yeah, it was like
Jeff.
you know, it helped it was a good waste of time for the hour before I had to go and pick up a Switch 2, you know, like that was
Yeah.
it served its purpose. Do you want to run us through some of the highlights? We're not going to talk about everything like we usually do, guys, because we're not insane, but we're just going to talk about highlights, stuff we liked, or
Yeah.
stuff we thought was egregious if we want to be that fucking dumb, but
Pragmata got another trailer for 2026 as a release
for
window.
real this time, guys, for real, it's definitely happening.
confirming that it does indeed still exist, which is
Yeah.
funny because the week beforehand, I think, were you saying it
was
wasn't
me.
real anymore?
It was me.
Yeah.
It's me, and I said it
Me,
had to.
sir.
It was me, and I said it has to show up this week, or it doesn't exist anymore. So I'm happy that I got that prediction
Okay.
right. That it did show up, which is good. I mean, it
Yeah.
looks fine. I still feel like I don't know why, but I jokingly, when this trailer first happened, I just jokingly said, "Oh, it's Weeb: The Last of Us," and
I
the
think it's
more
more
I
like Weeb Returnal, the way the gameplay was going. The pace of it is, The Last of Us moves at the pace of Continental Drift.
oh, and I didn't,
So this
and I just want to
being able
say,
to,
yeah, I don't think I didn't
this
mean
being able
that.
to
Yeah, I didn't
achieve
mean
a
that.
brisk walk,
I
you
didn't
know.
mean that in terms of combat or anything like that, gameplay. What I just meant from that
Oh,
is it's a third person
Chauffeuring a
shooter where
child
you're
around.
chauffeuring a child, where instead of a 14-year-old girl from Seattle, I don't remember where Ellie's even fucking from, you're doing this weeb robot 8-year-old person from outer space. You're just helping her, I don't know, kill robots.
yeah.
I don't know what the fucking
I don't know. The beginning of that
game
trailer
is.
got me good though, because I thought they were like seriously floating like a legit ad for some kind of stupid AI thing they were doing for
Oh
a
yeah.
minute. And I was like, oh god, I have half a mind to turn it off right now. And then it
Well, it's
pivoted
finally
to a
happening.
game, and I was like, oh, cool. More than anything, I just like symbolically that this exists, because I like that Capcom continues to just throw weird projects out there and
Yeah.
not only do their big things.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. I think what I think what I obviously I like it. I really like The Last of Us from the Joel and Ellie dynamic perspective, right? I think that's really great. I do get scared about the concept of having to chauffeur a 8-year-old weeb character around. That scares me a little bit because am I gonna want to chuck this fucker into outer space by hour 3? Like, how are we feel like I'm hoping that they
So
don't, like, I'm just like, just make
yeah,
her tolerable, please. Can that be a thing? Can we make her
like
tolerable?
from the trailer, she didn't seem to be grating yet, but like her design,
Yeah.
her design, and it feels intentional, but it is uncanny, like she feels like I'm the anime trope of the 1,000-year-old 10-year-old, but
Hmm.
realistically rendered,
And
you know.
I'm telling you right now, fucking cull Twitter, knock it off, dude. Like, genuinely, don't want to be anywhere near that when this game comes out. Like, genuinely,
Oh
ban the
god,
fucking
yeah.
platform. But I'm just like, you know what? It just reminds me. I'm just sitting there and I'm going, this could be a good game, but she could also just repeat the same 3 voice lines again and again when I don't figure out a door puzzle, and I'm gonna fucking want to like drop kick her to Timbuktu. Like I just don't. It's very
Your axe
rare.
probably freezes the water.
Yeah, like
You're on
know, your
fire, Kratos.
you
Yeah.
know
Don't
your TV
pass.
comes with a mute button, right, Ethan?
yeah. Yeah, I know. Yeah, but like, I shouldn't have to do that. Should not be good game design. Dude. Japanese devs should not use the excuse of there's a mute button if they get pissed off. Like, no, write a good character. Why don't you try that? You know what I mean? Like, just try that. I don't know. It just.
Yeah, like I don't know.
Do you know what the vibe she gives off? She
Gonna...
does. She has that uncanny valley. Before you move on, the thing that reminded me of in terms of like kind of the way it looks is what's that film called with the robot girl that's is it Megan? What's that film called?
That's like the doll.
The
yeah.
doll. That's what she gives me
heard.
vibes off.
I saw that
gives me vibes
comparison
off.
being bandied around too. So
Yeah.
you're not alone in that.
Yeah, that's the vibes I'm getting. Except instead of being scared for my life, I'm more thinking, is there an airlock to fucking chuck her in if her voice lines are grading? It's a third-person shooter. Dude. Like, is that going to be annoying when you've got like? Because I saw in the gameplay, she's like on your shoulders for quite a lot of it. Like, I'm like,
I don't know.
FOV.
I don't
dude.
think it'll be.
I'm
not sure that'll be that bad.
We'll see.
But I don't think this game is gonna blow the doors off of anything. But
yeah.
like, if it could hit whatever. Like, if it could be at the seeming quality of, like, Path of the Goddess from last year, I think that would be acceptable. People who wanted to play that seemed to like it.
Is this doing anything for you, Kyle?
No,
Yeah.
I wasn't going to play it anyways.
I don't think I am either, to be honest.
And now knowing it's just a third-person shooter game.
Yeah. I don't know what
Hard
it is.
pass, Mr. Sir.
I don't know if... to be honest, I think I blame Sony for this, but... Like, just the concept of escorting fucking children around video games is just not my bag. Like, I feel like we've been here, done that, worn the t-shirt, dude. How many video games do I have to escort a daughter surrogate or a son surrogate around a fucking place in a third-person action game? I don't need to do this anymore. Like, please, for the love of
it probably also doesn't help that, like, the twist of the game is going to be that this girl was made in effigy of whoever made her, like the scientist or whatever, probably as a dead kid, and they're like, oh, idealized version of you.
Yeah.
Like, you could probably see where it's going.
Yeah, 100%. Like, I hope this game's good, and I don't know. Maybe it's just because, I don't know. Maybe one day when it's like, give it a decade or two, who knows? Maybe when I'm a dad myself, I'll find like the idea of these games more compelling, because apparently every game developer, as soon as they became a father, was like, this must be the game I make because that's all we do. But like, not having a kid, escorting one across X location just doesn't do anything for me. It just really doesn't. I'd rather either all or nothing, you know what I mean? Like, I don't mind stories where, like Persona or whatever, where you're a ragtag group, or like Xenoblade, where it's like you're a ragtag group of, 16 or 17-year-olds. Don't mind that. Don't mind when it's all adults. It's when you've got the father-son like, we've all played God of War, dude. We've all played God of War at this point, except for Cal because he sold his copy. But everybody else has played God of War.
No, I still have it. It was a download code.
Oh, epic, dude.
I installed
he was talking
it. I just
about
never
selling
played
Ragnarok, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, no, he said his console came with Ragnarok. I don't think he ever said that he sold it. But yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, I digress. I feel like I've done this enough. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I hope you forgive me, video game dads. Who knows though? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this game's
Corey
sick.
Barlog's putting you on the list.
And let me tell you, dude, I would rather have... I don't know, is this a controversial take, guys? I'd rather have these father-son, father-daughter games than horny games all the time. Like, I tolerate these more. Like, where there was, like, Game Fest, where, like, was it... What game was it? Was it fucking... What's that game that you willed into existence? Atomic Heart 2 or whatever? Where, like, it spent, like, 5 seconds on a shot of someone's arse.
I read his graphic and saw the developer's name, and I was like, oh, no, it's coming. But that one was like a psychic premonition of dread, not something I wanted to happen.
I'd rather have 20 million father-son games than 20 million games where the focus is just on whatever the female protagonist's arse is at that second, dude. I'll take that out. Like, there we go.
The robots aren't even the protagonists. Like the protagonist of the first Atomic Heart, at least, was a very charismaless dude
Hell yeah, bro. Hell yeah. Rock
with
on,
a
dude.
horrible relationship with his talking glove.
Hell yeah, dude. Make FPS great again. Am I right, fellow gamers? That's what I'm
God.
talking about, dude. That's what I'm talking about. Let us know, ladies and gentlemen. What do you prefer? Horny games or fucking Last of Us? What do you prefer? Let us know in the comments. Ugh. I just
Waiting,
that
waiting for the inevitable weeb Last of Us.
Oh, dude, that's what I'm thinking that is. Like, I am just scared
That's
of
where it's
that,
going.
dude. I swear to God, if that game is just The Last of Us, but the robot says "uwu" every 5 seconds, I am going to like add them to my list, dude, of people where I'm like, whenever I go to Japan, add them to the Nomura list where I shake them and go, "What are you doing? Stop it!" Oh well, it's fine. That's my whole takeaway from both the state of play and from Summer Game Fest was just, why does every game fit into one of 3 boxes now? You know what I mean? Like, why is every game either games as a service, a fucking Souls-like, or a roguelite? Why are we doing this? Like, every fucking game was just like, yeah, which one is it? And then the
Yeah.
surprise gacha game came as the 4th option, and you're like,
Mhm.
why? Just why?
Well, you know what the real surprise was is that Grasshopper Manufacture decided to show up at PlayStation's conference with a little game called Romeo's a Dead Man.
Mm-hmm.
Nice to see Suda51 doing more stuff.
Yeah, this game looks neat.
Yeah, this was could tell instantly that it was Suda51, which is always fun.
Yeah, it had that vibe
It had
to
that
it.
vibe to it. I like it. I liked it. Here's the thing: it's like Suda to me is a developer that I respect because he's got his own style and he makes these very batshit insane games that are made for a very specific audience, and that very specific audience really likes them, and I respect it. I don't care for the games personally, like they don't really interest me, but every time I see him show up, I'm like, hell yeah, good for you, King. You keep rocking on, dude. You keep rocking on. The game looks pretty neat.
Yeah, it looks neat. I think like the dismemberment that was going on in there looked really cool as far as like the way it was rendered and all that. I was like, oh man, that looks really good.
Yeah.
It looks leagues better than No More Heroes did, visually speaking. The last one of those.
Dude, I wouldn't be surprised if No More Heroes 3 fucking scared Suda away from making a Nintendo exclusive for quite a while, dude. Like, genuinely.
Yeah,
That game was
wouldn't be
rough.
shocking.
That
But
game was rough.
yeah, this one looks cool. I hope it could give me everything that I wanted from No More Heroes 3 as far as wacky boss fights and fun action without the
Chores
eons
in
of padding.
between.
Yeah.
Yeah, hopefully. Then after that, we got Silent Hill F, another trailer for that, and a release date. Don't know if it already had that or not, though.
No, it did not. I was not expecting this game to come this year. I was expecting next year for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah, end of September this year,
Oh, that's exciting. Can't wait to
just in
get
time for October.
yeah,
just in
just
time for
in time for
Twoctober. That's
Halloween.
crazy. That's crazy.
Oh shit, October.
Um,
Oh baby.
I think this game is really cool in the fact that, again, it's gone for a vibe and it's just kind of going for it. It's like we've not really Silent Hill, has mainly been about America, right? So it's like the fact that
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
doing
Silent
a
Hill, the
game
town is
set in Japan, but going all in on that kind of Japanese horror, I think is really cool. I think it's pretty neat.
it is hilarious too, because like between the two of them, Resident Evil is definitely the one that's the more Western appealing of the two big survival horror series. And
Mhm.
even then, Silent Hill still never went all the way with the Japanese horror kind of stuff. So I think this does open up a lot of cool doors for them to just explore as far as setting and vibe. Because, like, getting the getting the ring monsters and the Onryu and all that around town is really cool. Seeing the one specifically, it was like if they took the mannequin from 2 that just came out and gave it a head
Yeah.
that was broken backwards. It was great.
Yeah, it was a creepy little thing. I will never play it. You can't fucking make me. But
I also probably won't, but I'm happy for Hunter
dude,
and no one else.
yeah. Silent Hill's just not my jam at all, really. It's like the atmosphere is just a bit too fucking like creepy for my liking. Especially as soon as I saw
Mhm.
like the Onryo kind of shit, like the ring, I'm like, oh god no, like that gives me the heebie-jeebies, dude. Like, yeah, not the long hair, like no, it scares the shit out of me. Have fun though.
Oh,
Yeah,
I will.
and again, September 25th is when that drops.
Yeah,
Bloodstained is getting a second game. That was unexpected for me personally. That's coming out in 2026.
yeah.
Yeah, I liked the art style of this one. Their weird CG cutscene that they're whatever the cutscene was that they kept cutting away to. I was like, this might be one of the only times in video game trailer history where I think the gameplay that they cut to visually looks more appealing than the thing they're cutting away
Yeah,
from.
it was a bit of a weird one, wasn't it? Yeah, but no, it looks interesting. Any
Yeah.
other highlights?
Uh, an announcement for me and no one else. Final Fantasy Tactics is getting its remaster that was leaked back when the Nvidia leak happened.
Dude, it's not a
Um,
Souls-like or a dad game. I'm sorry, I'm just not interested. You know, like Jeff
oh,
Keighley had
sorry,
my
dude, it's
back. Like,
Japan.
I'm sorry, dude. I'm just not interested.
I mean,
Even worse, dude, it's woke.
Oh
I am
no!
interested in getting this and playing it at some point. It'll probably be one of those ones that because it comes out like 4 days after Silent Hill. This is
Yeah, it's
probably going on the birthday
September
Christmas
30th.
list.
The
So,
only critique I have of this is really of all the games not to give the HD 2D remake to, this is the one that you decide to skimp out on, Square. Really?
Yeah, that
yeah,
feels feels bad, man.
that
But
was
oh well.
silly, especially because like, oh, we put the old version and the new version both in the thing, and it'd be like, well, of course you did because it barely looks any different.
Well, it's not that. It's like the old combat UI is what they kept in, so you can
Oh,
switch
okay.
between those two. It's not a visual thing.
Because like their enhanced and uh original versions side by side barely looked any different.
They added
Yeah,
the
no,
smudge
it's
filter and
it's
Ben
different
Starr.
combat
That's the difference.
UIs.
Give us $50, Hunter. We added Ben Starr. There you go. $50,
Ben
please.
Star
Yeah.
is worth at least $50. You're
It's
right.
true, dude. That's what Mario Kart World needed, dude. You know, if Pragmata, if the dad was voiced by Ben Starr, I'd be buying it. Just saying. Just
What
saying.
if the girl was voiced by Ben
Even
Starr?
better. Even better. I'll even let her say uwu if Ben Starr is voicing her, dude. I'll even allow one uwu from Ben Starr and only Ben Starr. He's the only
Just
waifu I need, dude.
a
Yeah.
game where everyone is voiced by Ben Starr.
I'd buy it, dude. I'd buy it. Date Everything just should be Ben Starr and only Ben Starr. Date Everything too.
Oh.
Robbie Damon, take notes. Just hire Ben Starr. Have him voice everything.
But yeah, Final Fantasy Tactics out on September 30th.
Sound?
Dumpy dumpy dump. Mortal Kombat's getting a legacy collection of all the
I,
old arcade games together.
It's really
and
cool.
possibly other things.
Yeah,
I'm glad
possibly
that they're
like
finally.
GBA stuff. Like
Yeah, that's in the list. They said and more to be announced. I wouldn't be shocked if the PS2 games and stuff from like that era get a different collection. It would be nice if it was all here, but
I mean, you gotta hope this is
probably
like the start of something, right? Where
yeah.
yeah.
maybe not
I
everything's in the
mean,
first collection, but maybe now that they have got them involved, maybe more collections can happen
Yeah,
down in the future.
because it's
yeah.
always been really stupid that there's been no way to play like 1 through 3 at least in any capacity that's easy.
Yeah.
Because like every third game, the story just reverts back to Mortal Kombat 2. So
Yeah.
it's dumb that they keep falling back on that, but have never brought anything forward to actually be playable that way. It'll be nice to have like the arcade versions of all of those, since you're making some kind of sacrifice if you were choosing to emulate Sega or Nintendo anyway.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And you know. The and more is fascinating too, as far as what else it could be, because it'd be fun. It'd be funny if it was like Mortal Kombat mythologies or something.
They just put the Mortal Kombat movie on there as well.
Just something
Yeah,
really out of left field. Yeah, that'd be funny.
because it's
Yeah.
like those are all the kind of things where it's like, yeah, I definitely wouldn't ever want to pay for that, a la carte. But if it's just coming in with these other things, because I'll probably pick this up since I liked Mortal Kombat a lot more at one point in my life than I did
No.
after 10 and 11.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely like riding off of what Capcom did with their 2 Legacy Collection games.
Yeah.
So it's nice to see Mortal Kombat doing the same thing, keeping their old stuff available.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Metal Gear Solid 3.
Dude,
They need to
Another
stop
trailer
showing trailers for
from
this.
do you know what the problem is? And it's what I've realized now is the first trailer came out for Metal Gear Delta, and you're like, oh, I don't know about that. Then the second one came out, and like, oh no, this actually looks really good. Every subsequent trailer after this, it starts looking slightly worse. Like it's like I'm just like, stop showing it. Like you're not like you really did nail it with like the second trailer where you didn't need to show anymore. Like you're just showing the entirety of the game and not in the best light either. Like just leave
Like,
some of it till the release. Like my god, it's
it's
out in 3 months.
it's really
2.
silly because it's like they forgot that people haven't played this game yet, apparently.
Yeah.
Because they're like only appealing to people who know the story. And like would I guess like it was kind of cool to see him do like the new slams and stuff
Yeah.
that weren't, but like I didn't need to know that was there. It would have been fine to I was gonna get it anyway because I have already
Right.
played the game and you're only advertising towards me and people like me anyway, so it's weird that you're doing that.
It's just one of those weird ones where it is like I don't know who. I think the only people that Konami are making this for are already fans of Metal Gear 3 because it's like they're not doing a good job of
Where
getting new
they're
people
advertising
into
it,
it because
yeah.
of the advertising. And also, it's like you've got that collection with this one in it already on everything. So it's like there will be people that are like, "Oh, I want to play Metal Gear 3, but my options are paying $70 for it or buying the collection that's now on sale and I get 1, 2 and that all together and the old just the regular Metal Gear games as well if I want
Yeah, a whole
to."
lot of stuff.
So it's like
Um
it's such a bizarre choice of a video game. I said this when they announced it, and I still think that. Why didn't you just remake 1? Like it's just such a weird choice. Because people can go, oh
yeah,
yeah, in
I
the
don't get it.
canon though, 3 makes sense.
It
It's not
starts
gonna
it
make
starts at
sense to
3 blah blah
normies.
blah.
Because literally, you've changed it so it's not got a 3 in the title. But what is every single fucking review? I can read it from IGN.com now in the future, predicting it. Oh, Metal Gear Solid Delta is a insert good or bad remake of the 3rd Metal Gear Solid. Like everybody's in every review is going to mention the 3. So like just bizarre game. I hope it's good. I still hope it's good. I really do.
I think it'll be good. Like it will
It-
probably be the
It'll be
new
good.
best way to play it, I would assume.
You hope
But
so.
like unless they like because like I don't have the same worry about this that I did for Silent Hill because
But
they are just
maybe
taking the story
maybe
and
maybe our
doing the
co-op
exact
there.
same thing.
Maybe our Konami
So
like ick detectors are off, dude. We were all strongly focused on Silent Hill 2, and it turned out
it
that it
would
was
be
actually Metal Gear
cosmically
Delta
funny
that
if
was
that's
the
what
dog shit
happened
one. Yeah.
because that would hurt a little more than Silent Hill 2 being bad.
Would it
But
hurt
also
more because it's Metal Gear, or would it hurt more because Bloober Team did a good job? Which one hurts more in that perspective, Hunter?
oh, it would be a little bit of both, but but like in a world where both of them are bad, Metal Gear would hurt more
That's fair.
because I like Metal Gear a little more than Silent Hill. But
That's fair. That's
you
fair.
know, there was a little tease for Metal Gear Online at the end there, so yeah, I guess it's cool if they're doing that again. People
Yeah.
really liked. There was a small but dedicated fan base for that mode.
Hey, we'll see. Anyway, it's out in like 2 months anyway. You not got long.
Yeah. After that, they showed Neo 3, which I wasn't expecting at all. This was really cool to see.
I will take that as a win.
It's that
Yeah.
time. It's that time of
I,
the year, dude. It's that time of the year.
I
You
got
know.
I got the wrong series, but I did win one of their feudal Japan games back.
Yeah, coming out early 2026. No date, but there is a demo available. So
Neat.
hop on that if you're interested. Astrobot got some new levels added after that.
Fucking keeps getting better, dude. Keeps getting
The
better.
game that never ends, dude.
Dude, like, I'm not gonna lie, dude. I don't know. I just whatever his name is it Nicholas or whatever? The guy that's like the guy that keeps coming up for Astrobot. Um
Mhm.
you know the guy. He shows up for all these
Yeah,
updates with an Astrobot. I don't know what it is
you know
about
the
him,
one.
dude, but he's like my new best friend, dude. Like every time I see him, I just like smile. You know, like
Well, yeah,
when
every time you see him, he's showing you Astrobot stuff.
yeah,
Of
but it's
course you
like,
love him.
but like he's got the vibe now to me of like Sakurai or like an Aonuma that when I see him show up in a thing, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna have a good time. You know what I mean? Like he's got that vibe to him now.
Yeah,
He's got that
something cool's
aura
about to
where I'm
happen.
like, oh,
Yeah.
it's my PlayStation father, dude. Like he's the one that I care about. Like you know what a legend. Keep making Astrobot. Yes, what a game. Game of the year 2025 as well. It's sick. I can't wait.
First Light 007 coming out 2026.
I'm looking forward to it. Show us some
I
gameplay,
I
though.
think the game will be good. I don't think this was a good trailer
I
for it
don't
though.
either.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I understand, especially if you're going to do a new trilogy, that you want to start off with a young Bond that's like earning his rank, but just having him look just like and not like he doesn't have the Bond look to me. You know what I mean? Like
He looks
even
like Insomniac's Spider-Man's
yeah,
brother.
yeah.
dude. Apparently, the guy that's playing him played like the young version of Dexter in the prequel series, and I'm like, why are we going for that kind of look? You know, like that's not.
Yeah,
I'm not going for that
I don't
vibe.
get
Like,
it.
I'm not expecting a Daniel Craig, but you know, I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't know. He's giving off Nathan Drake vibes more than he is Bond vibes. Like, you know, like I just
And like not and definitely that's definitely not a good thing in this case, I don't
no,
think.
no.
You know?
I
Mhm.
just I'm looking forward to it, and IO never misses. The game will be fantastic. The game will be brilliant. I have no doubt that it's going to be a fantastic
Yeah.
video game, and I'm sure that'll be the nitpick on the addendum of the review where I'm like, I still don't like his design, but the rest of the game's fantastic. But yeah, it wasn't a great trailer. I hope we see more. The stuff during Game Fest, I'll wrangle that in here because I don't really want to talk about this game 6 million times, but again, I think it's cool that they're adding a Casino Royale kind of style thing with Mads to Hitman. But I'm just sitting here and I'm just like, just show the game. You know what I mean? Just I don't care.
Yeah.
Just show the game.
Yeah.
Hitman's fantastic. I love Hitman. It's brilliant.
Hitman's gonna keep hitmaning.
Bond is fantastic too. I just like I say, just show the game. Like, yeah, whatever. Also I don't like the name. I don't like the name either. I think it's very
It doesn't help that I keep reading this and thinking of
infamous.
the Infamous
Yeah,
DLC. Yeah.
infamous first light.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. I'm like, oh, what's
yeah.
Fletch up to? Or whatever and it was it Fletch? Or was it
Uh,
Fetch?
Fetch.
I don't
It was
remember.
Fetch.
Okay.
But yeah, Ashley Birch. Um, but yeah, it's just it looks good. And I assume that'll be early 2026. That'll be like first half, my guess.
Probably. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll buy it.
Yeah.
Next.
But speaking of bad trailers, after that we got Ghost of Yote, like a minute long trailer that didn't amount to anything truly.
It was like, hey, we're doing
Game
another
still
thing
exists.
in July.
Yeah, they're
Please
doing a
watch.
gameplay dive in July.
Dude, this is a game where I'm like, obviously, it's like I liked the first Ghost of Tsushima enough. I don't think it's fantastic, but it's like I want to give this game as much hope as I can because I'm really hoping that it is just a very like it's much better and I have a great time with it because I'm gonna dive in again. But this is one of those games. It's the opposite of Bond, whereas where Bond I'm like, show me some damn gameplay. This game I'm like, I've seen enough, and everything you're showing is putting me off it more. So please just fucking release the game. It's like when they announced that you could do any of the like the Yotai 6 or whatever it is, you can do them in any order,
Yeah.
and I'm like, instant tick after what Assassin's Creed Shadows did. Don't tell me that. Just don't tell me that. Just stop showing me shit, Sucker Punch. Like, come on, just release the game. Like, why are we doing this? It's still like what 4 months out. Like, stop showing the game. Like, with like, just
Dude, the annoying thing now is like up until last week, Ghost of Yote was like the last thing on. I think it still is technically the last thing like I'm looking at buying, but it was like unopposed, nothing around it now. Now there's like only a week between that and Silent Hill being out, so it might be a case of me being not quite done with that, picking up Ghost of Yote to talk about it for the podcast,
then going
putting
straight
it
back.
down to
Yeah.
finish Silent
No,
Hill because
no.
of course I'm gonna do that. Um,
Yep.
and then picking Ghost of Yote back up.
I just, yeah, I feel like Sony is in just such a state right now where it's like, I don't like being a downer on everything that Sony does and the way that they're going about stuff, really. Because, like I say, whenever I see Team Asobi and Astro, literally, it's like I'm a child and I'm like, gimme, gimme. Like, I want the fucking Astrobot, more levels, yeah. But it's like, I just sit there and I'm like, this is it.
The rest of their stuff is just boring.
There's nothing else out. Like, genuinely,
There's
it's
no
like,
sauce.
what's like Saros? Cannot wait for Saros next year. Genuinely,
Oh,
that
it's
is my
gonna be
most
real good.
anticipated Sony game, and it's not even close. But it's like when you're thinking about the slate, and it's like, okay, we've got Wolverine and Intergalactic and whatever the next Sony Santa Monica game is, and it's just like, I just need a bit of magic back
God of
because,
War, Metroidvania.
dude, it's just like, you remember when everybody was like, "Oh, all
Not
Xbox,
here,
all Xbox
or at
does
the
is
Keeley thing, by
sequels."
the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just, I'm just sitting there. I'm just like, yay, more Ghost of Tsushima, but games take 5 years to make now, so it's like, great. I'm like, more Ghost of Tsushima was great when like more Uncharted was great when Uncharted games took 2 years to make, but now that Naughty Dog games take apparently 7 years to make, it's like, God,
Yeah.
just get to the point, get to the point.
Mm-hmm.
I'm Expedition 33 pill, dude. I think every game should be made by 30 people in about like 3 or 4 years, and then just fucking kick that shitter out the door and then make it peak. Like just get on with it. No more.
It's that easy.
It's just that easy, guys. Everybody can do it.
Just push the make game good button.
Hey,
If you
and
need
then
more
you're
time,
done.
it's not worth it.
It's not worth. Yeah, exactly, dude. Exactly. If you're making
That
a
is a
sequel,
bad way. That is
you're
okay, a sequel maybe, but that is a bad way to start looking at things because people will take the wrong lessons from that statement too.
Dude, I'm just saying that if your sequel takes longer than it took you for you to make the original game, you're doing something wrong. Because you've already got the head start of knowing what
The
the IP
bones.
is and knowing what the game needs to be. You're doing something wrong. You are fundamentally doing something wrong. Anyway, I'm still
Anyways,
hoping for it.
wrapping up the PlayStation show was another announcement just for me and no one else in the group. Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls, a 4 versus 4 Marvel Tag Fighter game. My God, this game looks sick as fuck.
No, I think it looks great. I think, again, it gave me a little glimmer of hope for Sony in the sense of, don't get me wrong, it's another fucking Marvel game. I'm gonna shoot myself. If they make one more Marvel game, I am gonna like, Herman's gonna be on that shaking list where I find him and I'm
Dude,
like,
straight up, I'm sitting here like I'm on the hook for Spider-Man, the next one of those, and then
I'm done.
probably Wolverine just
Yeah.
because. And
Yeah.
that, I think that's it. I'm not entertaining I'm so sick of Marvel stuff.
But what I will give
Here's the
them credit
thing.
for is it's not like, when it comes to live service, it's a fighting game. They own Evo. It makes sense for them to invest in a fighting game and to do it with a partner like Arxis, who, I've not
really good at
played
what they
many
do.
I've not played many
They're good
fighting
at what they
games,
do.
right? But they're really good at what they do, and for the most part, I think they're pretty underrated in terms of like, sales and from a mainstream perspective. No one fighting game enjoyers really do play Arxis games and like Arxis games.
Mhm.
But regular normies, they're sticking to their Street Fighters, their Tekkens, their Mortal Kombats, right? They're not really caring. So for Sony to pump some money into a game like this, it's pretty cool. And not for it to, me and Hunter were sitting there clowning, going, some of these designs are god awful. But I like that they are letting them do their own style and making their own game.
Mhm. the fact that like Arxis was given the Marvel IP and said, "Go wild with this. You do whatever you want." I do like a lot of the designs for what they showed. I think that Iron Man as like a Sentai robot design is super fucking cool. Like a Gundam,
Yeah, yeah.
that's super cool.
I thought the Doctor Doom looked cool.
Doctor Doom looked sick as hell with that fur coat. Oh
Yeah, yeah.
shit, dude.
Robert
Dude,
Downey
fur
Jr. right there.
capes and/or coats look rad. It's just an
That's a character
undefeated
design
design.
fact.
Like
If
Doom,
you
Doomslayer, Kratos, Doctor Doom.
Hell yeah. But no, I
no,
think
this
this
shit
game looks
looks
good.
sick.
It looks good.
From my point of view, like I also personal, like I love Blaze Blue Cross Tag Battle, and I've been itching for a really good tag fighter. And yeah, 2XKO is coming out, but that game doesn't look like it has any sauce. I'm gonna be real. So
Dude, I think it's like one of those things.
I trust
Yeah.
Arxis more than I trust the League of Legends people.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's a fair
the thing
assessment.
is though, is I say that and I'm like, oh yeah, look, it's League of Legends people. I'm like, stay in your lane, but also, you know, they somehow fucking. I think Valorant is the most sourceless video game ever made yet.
But
Yeah.
somehow there's
It
an audience
somehow
for it.
does
But
really well, yeah. So yeah.
it's the I mean, cardboard finding an audience isn't shocking, to be fair. Imagine Dragons are super popular somehow.
Yeah,
Ayo.
but I just yeah, I think it's going to be interesting to see how this does. I'm very much going to keep my eye on it. I think the name's awful. I really do think Tokon Fighting Souls is a really bad name for a video game. But
It could have just. I think
It's an
Marvel
Arxis game.
Fighting
None of them
Souls
have good
probably would have worked
names.
yeah,
fine.
Marvel Fighting Souls. It should just be called Marvel Fighting Souls. Because I think it's just going to confuse people, dude. And I know, like, you know, it very much is like the argument that people were having on Twitter the other week, where it was like, is the Switch 2 box too similar to the Switch 1 box when it has a big 2 on it? But I'm
Just
like,
two on it.
but you also got to remember that people are stupid. There will be stupid people that
Okay, we shouldn't slow down for those people.
yeah, I don't disagree, but I also think that when a kid says, "Oh, I want the video game Tokon for Christmas, mom or dad," and then they go and get them Tekken, then there's gonna be an issue because you know it's gonna happen. One person's gonna buy Tekken thinking it's a Marvel game.
Yeah, and then they'll be like, "Where's Iron Man? All I got is the dude with the Jaguar mask," and then
Yeah.
King will be their favorite character.
Yeah,
And
true.
then their brain chemistry will be altered forever
Just
in
yeah,
one way or another.
it's just very funny to me where it's like, yeah, no, yeah, there's already a really popular fighting game called Tekken, and they're like, no, this is Tokon, dude. Like, if it wasn't for Marvel, I would be sitting there in the fucking boardroom going, what are we doing, guys? What are we doing? We hoping people accidentally buy this one? Like, what are we doing? Come on. But other than that, it looks pretty sick.
Yeah, and that wraps up the PlayStation showcase.
Yeah.
Like I said, I thought it was really good. It was enjoyable.
Yeah.
A lot of cool stuff shown off.
Same can't be said for Keely's shit show. Fuck me.
Unfortunately,
Keely. Jeff, I know you're an
Keely
avid.
still exists.
I know you're an
How
avid
do these
listener of
things
the
still
show.
go 2 hours?
Dude, Jeff, no, listen.
This
Jeff.
could have been an email.
Jeffy boy. I know you listen to this show. I know it's your favorite show on the world, dude. I know you love it. What the fuck, Jeff? Like, genuinely, come on. No, lift your head up. Lift your head up, dude. Lift your head up. Look at me when I'm talking to you, dude. That was fucking abysmal, okay? Like, genuinely, I try to be a defender of you sometimes. Sometimes. I want to make that clear, only sometimes. But I try to see the good in these kind of things and go, oh, you know, at least there was that. Jeff, I've got nothing, mate. I've got nothing. I've got Resident Evil, but you had to bait us 3 times to keep us engaged throughout the whole show, dude. Like, genuinely, like...
I do think this was better than the one from last year still, but
I
not by a
don't.
lot.
I really don't. I think that last year's was better than this shit show, dude. Like, genuinely.
Dude, last year literally only had Wander Stop as far as things that were interesting. And it actually put me to sleep. So, you know.
I think the fact that I left in the middle of this show to go get dinner and I came back and Ethan says you missed nothing.
Yeah.
It says a lot about the show's quality.
Yeah, I just sit there and I'm like, what we doing here, dude? What are we doing here? Like, I just
Like, I'm
sit.
just scanning over the list of games
Mhm.
shown. There's nothing I even want to talk about.
Yeah.
I don't think anything's worth mentioning here except for Resident Evil.
Yeah, it's not literally, it's like it was painful. It was genuinely painful. Like I just have nothing. And even like Resident Evil 4 is like, you're supposed to get, oh, fair play. Big get. Fair play. It was also leaked that this was happening. We knew that Resident Evil 9 was going to be announced this week. We already knew that. So the fact that they were teasing us, where they're like, oh, you'll hear about it a little bit later. And there was genuinely a part of me, Hunter, that was genuinely, when they said a tiny bit,
Dude,
I was like, they're going to do it
at
later
the
in the
end of the
show, aren't they?
show,
They're going
it
to do it at the
made
end of the
it
show.
made it. That wasn't even cute. That was retroactively made the other part more annoying than it was already.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
I was like, but that was a waste of time. Like, you didn't. All you did in the first place was annoy me, and then, it was still annoying. Your trailer is very good. It looks cool, yes, but that other part could have been cut. I think that baiting somebody with Lady Dimitrescu just telling you it was on sale the first time was probably the most you could have done without being super egregious.
I just sit there and I'm like, okay. Because, like, here's the thing, right, with Resi 9 is it's like, yeah, when you look at it now in retrospect, you're like, okay, yeah, they were obviously setting it up in all three of them. Because it's like, what were the games that they specifically showed off that were definitely on sale? Resident Evil 2, Resident Evil 4, Resident Evil 8. And it was like, okay, those are the three that are the most, well, according to rumors and leaks, those are the three that are the most relevant to Resident Evil 9. So it's like, okay, cool. Then the next one where it's like, you'll have to wait just a teeny tiny little bit longer. 20 minutes and then we'll be ready. It was just like, to be fair, my favorite part of the show was somebody who tweeted, yeah, game dev should take more time to showcase stuff when they're ready. That extra 20 minutes of dev time really helped for that trailer. I'm like, yeah, so true, dude. So true.
That was
But yeah, I mean, I saw that trailer and I remember because me and Cal were just sitting here, and I remember as soon as I saw her face, I was like, it's Resident Evil. And it's just because the RE engine has a look to it where I can tell from a female character model when it's Resident Evil, like it's with the RE engine. It's just, I don't know what it is about that engine.
it's
The
like any
eyes. I think it's in
character
the
that actually
eyes.
has.
I think it's the eyes. It's something about the way the eyes are rendered where I was like, that's RE engine. And I don't know why I can tell, but it's RE engine. And it's not Monster Hunter, so it's got to be
Yeah.
Resident Evil.
I think it's like anything where the character has like any like actual design behind them, where they're supposed to look unique. Like no one else, like the guy in the office, you probably don't see him very much after that. So
yeah,
you
I think
know,
it's because it's still got that
he
kind
doesn't
of,
matter.
and I think especially because
There was
yeah,
plausible deniability that could have been like some kind of Sony nonsense or anything else that would nearly bring Jeff to tears.
but they have still, yeah. I think it's a mixture because as soon as I saw, I can't remember what her name is, the new female protagonist in this
Grace
game,
Ashcroft.
Grace. As soon as I saw Grace, I was like, yeah, definitely RE engine. There's something about the way that they design female characters in the RE engine where you can instantly just go, that's that engine. I think it's because it's like it's realistic, but it still has that kind of Japanese design tendency to the character designs. I think that's what it is. That it's like that weird mix of nobody else does that. Everybody else is all in on one basket, whereas Resident Evil's like same with Monster
Yeah,
Hunter. Have our cake and eat it too. We will have realistic designs, but they will still look
it
anime
really
as
is like
fuck.
that with
They will still, yeah.
all of their things. The women in Devil May Cry look like that too.
Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, it was the main thing to talk about from this show. It looks interesting. I'm still like what I like about it, especially according to people who are more knowledgeable about Resident Evil 9, is it doesn't really say a lot either, which is quite,
Yeah,
you
that's
know,
nice.
they're not
The
playing their
premise of
card.
going, the general premise of just going back to Raccoon City,
Yeah.
very cool.
Maybe with a unfortunate guy who had a bad first day on the job. Who knows? I don't know.
Yeah.
Dude,
Yeah.
it's gonna be
But
really funny because if Leon is in that game, won't he be like 50 odd at this point? Like he'll be like old man
he would
Leon.
be pretty old, yeah.
Yeah. Damn.
But you know,
I hope
they
it's not a
were.
father-daughter dynamic, dude.
Yeah, that would be. Well, she's a grown woman, so that would be weird. But you know,
Yeah,
uh,
that's true.
I I hope that I hope that they handle, since he's apparently in the game. I hope they handle it better than putting Chris in Village because.
Well, the current rumor is it doesn't seem like it's a rumor. It seems like it's all but fact. Is that there's two protagonists? You play as both of them. So
Okay. I
he's
could vibe with that a little bit more.
he's
Chris just
definitely
kind of
got
was
more.
around in Village uh, as a non-entity for all of the middle portion of the game, and then you got control of him for a little bit, and it's like, well, now this feels weird because this isn't your story. Why are we ending with you?
Yeah, I think it's I think if I remember correctly, I think the idea behind it is they've obviously got the new character and Leon, and it's to try and like I think the idea behind this game is to tie up the loose ends of the old story and push it forward into a new direction because I think they want to stop numbering the games. I think you can tell by the way this game is called Resident Evil Requiem and they flash the 9 for a second, but it's not in the actual logo. Like they're like, we're done with. Like I think after 9, I think they're done with numbering. I think they just want a Resident Evil subtitle. But
Oh, oh man, it's a bummer that I think the movies used Extinction already because that would be a great one for X.
yeah,
Oh,
but
Uh,
I think it looks interesting. I
Stupid
think we
bad
don't know
Resident Evil
anything about
movies.
this game still, so it'll be nice to see more of it, and I'm sure we will see more of it now that it's coming out in February. I'm sure we'll see it at Gamescom. I'm sure we'll see it
Yeah,
everywhere.
and Capcom hits their dates too, so
Yeah.
like this
yeah.
is for sure coming out as a nice little treat at the beginning of the year. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Was there anything else other than me? I know Mina the Hollower got a release date. That's coming out on Halloween. Unlucky Hunter.
Yeah, dude, that's mark your calendars.
Mark
That's
your
the day
calendar.
Hunter's fantasy draft dies.
I don't know if it's gonna die, but it's
It
going to.
will. I'm hoping on a dream, dude. I'm hoping on a dream. I'm gonna do nothing but try and farm engagement so we get enough popularity to be on Open Critic, so I can give it a fucking 5 out of 5, dude. That's my goal. Is pump the numbers, dude. Pump the numbers. Uh, no, I think it's
Yeah, but
nice that
that
Mina's.
that looks really good.
Yeah, it will be great. I'm sure it will be. It's nice to
Yeah.
see that one of the great indie to be confirms has finally got a date. Be nice if
Yeah.
by the end of this video we might be talking about another one. Who knows? We'll find out in 10 minutes, but for us it'll be a whole day. That's really funny. It's like, oh, come back in 20 minutes. Fuck all.
One of them that I thought looked cool was it was one of the other horror ones. End of Abyss looked kind of like it was the one with the creature design, looked kind of like from inside.
Oh yeah,
It was
yeah.
like a top down horror looking thing. My interest was piqued by that one. I ended up in real time I was watching this mostly on mute
Yep.
because I was downstairs, so I wasn't getting a lot of the tee ups for anything. Like the Code Vein trailer there, I was sitting there like racking my head because I couldn't remember I knew what it was, but I couldn't remember what the game was called. I was like, Anime Dark Souls, Anime Dark Souls,
Dude, I
Anime
literally
Dark
sat
Souls. What is
there.
it?
This is how, like, I don't know why I remembered Code Vein,
Like
but
not the
I literally
pejorative
said to
way,
Kyle, I'm
just
like, this
that's
is
what it
Code Vein,
is.
innit? I'm like, oh, it's Code Vein. And then I said to Kyle, I was like, oh, great, another Souls like. And Kyle's like, no, it's not. It looks more like an action game to learn. I'm like, trust me, no, it's Code Vein and it's a Souls like. And then Code Vein
Yeah.
2 comes up. I'm like, there you go, told you. You got
Yeah, it
you
was
got,
like I could
you got
tell.
goofed,
I could
dude.
tell by like the. To be fair, I think if I hadn't played a little bit of Code Vein last year, I wouldn't have known really, because like it was by the way that the mask with the extra arm move that the guy did. I was like, oh yeah,
That's
I know
true.
this.
There
I
are
just like before the trailer when they announced that it was like a new action RPG from Bandai Namco, and I'm like, oh man, here we go, Scarlet Nexus 2.
no, that's
Oh yeah,
tomorrow
that
at the
would have been
Xbox
funny.
showcase, dude. See you
But
in 20 minutes, guys.
I think not that I'm like especially interested in Mortal Shell 2. I think it's a funny little piece of existence though, because the trailer looks like
That shit looked cool.
they added more sauce to Mortal Shell than currently existed for with the first game.
True.
But I don't think they made it special enough to look any different from the other Souls likes in the pack. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I
Um,
think it like it looked better than the other ones that they showed off in this show. I think it looks cooler than Wu Chong or uh,
yeah.
any of the other ones.
There are a couple of games that I did want to mention because there were some stuff where I'm like, oh, actually, that was pretty cool. Stranger Than Heaven by Ryo Gogotaro.
Oh,
Um,
that looks
this
sick.
looks sick, dude. It looks like a detective game where you're going through that. Like the first trailer they showed off was set in the 1910s, and that one was set in the 1940s. The idea, some people
You're
are like, oh,
probably crossing
is it a
over.
time travel? No, it
Well,
looks like the same character, and I'm like,
yeah,
if this is a detective game that takes place when he's
that
young and
spans
new
100
and
years. That'd be
yeah, I'm like,
insane.
what a fucking video game, dude. What a video game.
Oh, that'd be
That
so
looks
good. Like I'm
incredible.
my interest is peaked in this one in a way
Yeah.
that I'll probably since there's like no baggage of 8 other entries with it. I'll probably jump in on this one when they have a date for it.
Yeah, that game looks pretty damn sick. I can't wait for that. Not my bag, but it's happy like I think it's really cool that the people that made TMNT Shredder's Revenge are making a Scott Pilgrim game. I think that's really fucking cool.
Oh yeah, that is
They're
cool.
like it's like one of those ones where I said to Kyle when we were watching it, it was like that's just like a perfect fit for a studio. Like
Mhm.
that's just something that just makes so much sense for them to make something like that, and to have the whole, have the writer of Scott Pilgrim making a brand new story for it to be, 4-player
They
co-op
got
like
the
TMNT
composers from
with
the other
yeah
game.
7 playable characters with nice little, just like stuff like that. I'm like that game's really good, and it's not in the hands of Ubisoft, which is a double win,
Yeah.
if you ask me. Um, I've got to give it to him. There was plenty of smaller indie titles that I'm like, hey, fair play, whether they're for me or not, don't know. I do want to give a shout out to Into the Unwell just because that's a really good name for a video game.
Oh
I'm like,
yeah.
that's such a fucking good name to a video game. It's
I
a
liked its
roguelike though, so
I like I liked its art style. It
Yeah.
doesn't the way the way the game looks like it plays doesn't feel like the roguelike structure even really
No,
benefits
it
it.
looks more like a Looney
You
Tunes
know?
PS2 game, but I vibe with it. It's
Yeah.
fine.
Like and like I feel like if that was just a thing that you could play and be done with in, an afternoon or two, that'd probably be better than oh, I got to get good at it.
Yeah, another trailer for Mixtape,
I
which still looks fantastic.
can't believe that doesn't have a date.
I'm still waiting. Yeah, it's weird because they said they finished doing voice acting for that in February, so I'm like, it should be close then. Liza P getting its Shadow Drop DLC. That's cool. Love Liza P. It's a good game.
Mhm.
Um,
Acts of Blood was a really good one.
uh,
That was the one that looked like Sifu with the melee combat and such, but with like the extra elements of like the cool free running and whatnot. And there was like there was some element of
mhm.
gunplay too. It looks
Yeah,
really good.
that's pretty cool. And I also wanted my final one that I wanted to give a shout out to was Lego Voyages. That is It's like a little indie Lego game where you're playing as like these two little one stud pieces with little googly eyes on them. That looks like a cute little puzzle like platformer game. The original Lego, I can't remember what it was called. Was it Lego Builders? I can't remember what it was called. Whatever it was,
Lego Builder Journey.
Lego Builder Journey was so cute and it was really cool. It was like a little 2 hour little game and it was really pretty and it was just really cool. That game, I was just like, oh, they made another one of those and it's co-op. That looks like a really fun time. So it's like, hey, that's cute. Um, that's the only reason is because you were saying that, Hunter. You're like, oh, I think that you're like, it's hard. There's quite a lot of good stuff there, but there's just so much shite. The problem is there's so much shite in there.
Yeah, yeah. Like if the show was only an hour, there would be a lot. It would be a lot more tolerable. And I did find enough like smaller things that I'm interested in this show to say that it's better than last year's. Where last year I reviewed the footage and it was literally Wander
Sauceless.
Stop, and that was
Maybe it
Wander
was better
Stop
looking
and an
at it
extra
now,
trailer
but
for like Phantom Blade Zero or something that I already knew about.
Mhm.
yeah, maybe it
Whereas,
was a little bit better. But there was still so much stuff that just didn't need to do. Saying this, sorry, Kojima didn't need to show that fucking cutscene, bro. No one got anything from
no,
that. Even Death Stranding
he's doing
fans
a
didn't
he's
get
doing a
anything from that.
people who did a preview for the game said that they didn't.
They hadn't
much
got that
from
far
it.
yet. Dude,
Yeah.
that's what I think's hilarious. People that have got the game because review copies are out now. Somebody said, I can't remember who it was, but someone was like, "I've not even got to this part yet. Why is he showing this?" Like, I'm 20 hours in and I've not got to it. I'm like, yeah, well, classic Kojima, dude. Classic Kojima.
Mm.
But yeah, it was pretty underwhelming for the most part. I just
Just saying
fucking,
something because my expectations
and he just
are
said
always
so
at
much
the floor.
shite, dude. I can't remember
It
what he
was
said.
underwhelming, but it was also exactly what I expected it to be. Because
The problem is it was
what Jeff shows
underwhelming
always are.
and exhausting.
Yeah,
Dude, what
and
was
he had
it?
just at least he got it out right away. The show's gonna be 2 hours long. And I'm like,
Dude,
oh, good.
There's I think what summed it up to me was just like, I was jokingly saying earlier that every game is a dad game or a Souls-like or a fucking roguelike, right? But I think the bit that made me, and this is nothing to do with the game itself, because it was a small indie game that he said this about. And I'm sure this small indie game is fine. But when he introduced the indie game, you weren't here, Cal, because you'd ran off, thank God for that. When he introduced the indie game Fractured Blooms with the title, when somebody sent me an email with the premise of Doki Doki Literature Club meets Silent Hill, I had to show it. I literally eye rolled. I genuinely eye rolled. I'm like, what is this? You just send a fucking email to Jeff and go, oh, Jeff, I've got fucking Undertale meets fucking Persona here for you. And he's like, I've got to show. I'm just like, you're just saying
That is
shite. Like, my
that
God.
is a silly way to try to sell your game anyway, because they're both from the same orbit of thing.
Yeah, literally.
So
yeah.
Silent
You
Hill
made a
meets
horror
They're
game.
both psychological horror. They're both psychological
That'd be like
horror.
saying it'd be like if I found an horror game and was like, oh, this is like Signalis meets Silent Hill. Like half of the DNA was already covered by Signalis anyway.
It is literally saying oh, Club Shitto's got a new racing game, which is Crash Team Racing meets Mario Kart. A fucking kart racer then?
Yeah, that's real stupid. Fractured Blue, I thought it looked cool, but the way he teed it up was
it really was.
atrocious.
It made me eye roll, where I genuinely was like, Jeff, we can't keep doing this. We can't keep meeting like this. It doesn't work. I think it was one of the it was one of the worst Jeff showings in a long time, dude. It was an opening night live performance, dude. It wasn't great.
Yeah. And especially coming off of how
Ugh.
actually good the Game Awards were at the end of last year.
Which
was it just a fluke?
Hear me
or
out. If Game Awards, if opening night live and Summer Game Fest have to be shit to make Game Awards good, fair play. I'll just watch Game Awards. I'm happy with that. Make these two shit. Just stop teeing them up like there's going to be something there when there isn't. Because we all know that if this hadn't happened, we would have got this at the end of the State of Play, and the State of Play was only 40 minutes, for Resident Evil. Let's be real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just oh well, it just seems backwards at times, dude. But oh well. We'll see, I guess. We'll see. My God. What a long episode. It'd be a shame if it had to go even longer if there was one more showcase that was happening after this recording.
Good thing that's not happening.
Good job. Oh, hang
Joke's on you guys. I watched Day of the Devs.
Oh, damn, bro. Hang on. Oh, breaking news. I am now going live to our report on the scene with future Ethan, who's got news. Did Persona 4 Remake happen, Ethan? Let's find out. Yes. Yes, it was. There was also some other stuff too, but we didn't really have time to talk about it after the Xbox showcase happened, so you're just going to have to wait for next time. Bit of a weird end to the podcast, but hey, that's what you got to do sometimes. Hey, maybe we'll talk about it more next week. But I'm going to head off because I really need to get this thing edited. But yeah, thanks for listening, everybody. We'll be back next week for more. But until then, have an awesome rest of your week. And yeah, we'll see you next time. Bye.